This is Liberty Underground with Alex Snicker, Danielle Alexandra, and Greg Bowen on the 1787 Radio Network.
Well, good morning, Tampa Bay, St. Petersburg, Clearwater, everybody in Tallahassee, Jacksonville, Clearwater. I said that twice. I don't even care because the voice made me do it. I'm talking about Daytona Beach. I'm talking about Miami. I'm talking about the Glades. I'm talking about Collier County. I'm talking about Naples. This is Alex, co-host, Liberty Underground, on the Friday before election, also known as Halloween. I hope everybody's having a good day. Danielle will be joining us shortly. However, there are some things that she needed to do. But in studio with me right now is the Prime Minister of all things that are sinister. It's Greg Bowen. How are you doing, sir?
Spectacular.
That's funny. That's a funny voice. I'm not going to lie to you. I can't even hear myself on the mic, though. So, how am I coming across, man?
You're coming across.
Am I coming across good, Greg?
Yeah, you're coming across all right. It looks like everything's cool.
All
looks
right.
like I'm not coming through too well. Hold on.
Well, fix yourself, Greg. Fix yourself, sir. You need to have yourself fixed.
I'm sure there are a lot of people who would agree with you right now.
I wouldn't agree with that. I love you, Greg. Oh. You know, I never like clicking on things when the Weekly Standard comes up. I'm just saying.
You never know what you're going to get.
I don't like it. I don't like it no matter what. You know, I'm actually going to have to make a ban. We're going to ban stories from the Weekly Standard.
Are we?
Yeah, I'm just going to have to do that. I don't know why, but I'm just going to have to do that. I'm going to have to get to the right thing. Hey, you know, one of the rudest things that you can do is what's the word for it? You know, we know when you message people and you message like 90 people at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
People hate that.
Oh, yeah.
I did it.
Oh.
I did it last night. I very rarely do it, but sometimes I will do it.
You're talking about on Facebook, right?
Yeah. When you Facebook message 90 people at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
People get mad sometimes when you do it. But I don't do it a lot, though.
You know why it makes me mad?
Because it's a jerk move?
Well, no, it's not necessarily a jerk move, and it's okay if it's information that you really need to get out to those 90 people. The problem comes when every one of those 90 people want to chime in and make a comment and start turning this into a conversation. And then you got notifications popping up every 2 seconds of all these different people chiming in on it. And most of it is stuff that is irrelevant, that I don't really care about.
You know, that's true, but I get good luck I've gotten pretty decent luck with most people just leave.
Yeah.
Which, again, I don't view that as a bad thing.
No.
Because all I wanted you to have is the information. From there, you can leave all you want to. It don't matter to me.
Thing is, I still get notifications when people leave.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. I had one of those this morning. I woke up and there was a bunch of notifications on my phone, and it was from...
It's probably from me.
It probably was that one.
Yeah, it was.
I think
it was to invite your friends to the group thing.
Yeah. Yep, that's what it was. So what are we talking about this morning, Alex?
A lot of different stuff.
I know.
A lot of different stuff.
We're just a couple days from Election Day, so there's nothing really to talk about.
Well, no. Yeah, I don't know. Let me see here. You know what? I gotta pull something up. I don't remember even where I put it at. You ever do that, man, where you don't remember where you put something?
All the time.
All the time, right? All right, so election's on Friday. And a lot of people are like, well, you know.
Tuesday. Today's Friday. Election's Tuesday.
Well, yeah, election's on Tuesday. Good job. At least I know when we're going to vote then. I wanted to pull something up. Yeah, somebody was asking me questions last night. Somebody asked me a question. Okay, so I'm gonna go with this. A gentleman by the name of Bill Walker, who I think is a Republican, asked me questions. And he says, Alexander, you are perhaps the most Oh, I think you did me just then.
Really? Did the mics get messed up?
Maybe.
No, I didn't. That was me.
Oh, I don't know what it was then. Okay.
You tripping.
I might be. You tripping. You are perhaps the most tireless, boots-on-the-ground advocate for the Libertarian Party that I'm aware of, and I would like to ask a question or two if you don't mind. What would you consider to be a realistic best-case scenario outcome for the Libertarian Party in this election cycle? what would you consider to be the worst case scenario for this election cycle? If it ends up being closer to a worst case than best case, how would that alter how you look at the 2016 cycle? I think that they're all very interesting questions. And I answered them last night, but I'm going to answer it again right now. Because I think that people need to understand the numbers in order to understand why you should continue to work. I go, Bill, that is a tough question or set of questions. It's hard to answer overall. It just is, man. I don't know what's going on in other states. Right. I mean, I know what the trend lines look like, and I know what some other the polling data looks like, but I don't know what's going on in other states. So I just don't know the other states like I know Florida. Overall, I believe that the Libertarian Party candidates will get more votes this time than in any other time in history. And that all the candidates combined, if you take all the votes that they're going to get, it'll be more than any time that they've ever gotten. And I think it'll actually be a big number ahead. I think it'll be a big jump ahead.
I agree with that.
I don't know how many victories that will equate to. I do believe that this party as a whole will win some of the smaller seats. So I think that some of the people running for all the smaller seats, I think you're going to have some victories there. For the bigger seats, it's tough to call. I don't know what goes on in other states. So, like the big races, like the McConnell race, he's not going to win. Patterson's not going to win. And, McDermott's running in New York, and he's probably not going to win. But they're all going to get some votes, though. The best case scenario for me in Florida would be winning, of course, but that is a long shot. I would not say it is impossible, though. Let me explain why. And here's where I go into the numbers. The estimated turnout is supposed to be in the 40 to 45% range. So the estimated voter turnout is 40 to 45%. This means that with 11 million registered voters, the likely voters are estimated to be between... That is me. That's not me? Okay. The estimated range is supposed to be between 4.4 and 4.9 million voters are going out. So out of 11 million voters, between 4.4 and 4.9 million voters are going to be coming out. So based on this and the percentage of the vote in the polls that both have and Charlie Crist, the most that they're looking to have right now, either one of them, is in the 2 million vote range. So if you look at the voter value survey, though, that in 2013, there were 2.5 million voters who were libertarian or libertarian-leaning in Florida. So we go back to that 11 million number. So remember that there's 11 million voters in Florida. If the best Rick Scott or Charlie Crist can do is 2 million, there is more than that are libertarian enough to vote for Adrian, then it is possible that he can actually win the election outright. You have to reach them. You got to have supporters to do that. But I would be happy with 15% of the vote. Anything above 5 is moving forward. But none of that would actually change my view of the 2016 election cycle. We still need to build the party and find candidates and stuff like that. So, but when you break down the numbers like that, think about it. They're like, well, it's either Rick Scott or Charlie Crist. Out of 11 million voters, these I can curse right now, but I'm not going to curse. These people can get 2 million votes. Okay, look, let's just say let's say Chris gets 2 million. Say Rick Scott gets 2 million. That's 4 million, right? Out of 11 million people that still can vote for Adrian.
That's right. And probably will.
Well, I'm counting no votes as Adrian votes.
Right. Because it's a vote. It's a vote that isn't going to those two guys.
Yeah.
So obviously they don't want those two guys. If they knew about Adrian, they would vote for him probably.
Yeah. Well, and I think the one thing to make sure that we remind, no matter who wins this thing, is whoever wins this thing is not winning it with any kind of mandate whatsoever. Which I actually, they always say, well, if you don't win, then if you don't win, then we want to advance a message. Now, I want to cause chaos, which means Absolutely. No mandate. But he asked me another question. I would totally understand if this is a subject that you would rather take up after the election. So please feel free, absolutely, no obligation to provide me any kind of an answer here. I am curious still about your insistence that your course would not alter essentially, regardless of the outcome of this election cycle. Is it your contention that the Libertarian Party is the foregone conclusion for victory in the future? Very, very good question, by the way. And so I answered him. I go, it is most certainly my contention that the Libertarian Party is the best chance that this country has to restore the republic. I see the trend lines and believe that we are on the way. My only question is when, not if. And then I continue. It's weird that I'm reading something that I wrote, but in any way, I wanted to make sure I said exactly what I'd said though, and because the numbers required a little math, and right now I can't remember math.
Too early to be mathing for you.
Yeah, I can't do that shit. I see the other two parties as far too corrupt to save. I also do not see any third party able to have the structure right now that is even close to the Libertarian Party. That will not change after the 2014 election. Even if you saw the rise of another third party to compete with the Libertarian Party, that would take time. I like the Libertarian Party. Sure, we have our unique individuals, but I like that. You know, I actually wrote an article about that a while back. I'll stick with the crazies. You know, because that is a great article, by the way. But that's just my opinion. Now, he responded, and he's a very nice person, by the way. Like, I like Bill Walker because he was always complimentary. If you really want to hear nice things for me to say, if you say complimentary things to me, you'll get things back. I give it like I get it.
Right.
He goes, I envy your steadfast resolve to your chosen path. Myself, I have no such luck and can see on possibility upon possibility in an endless sea of nuttiness. It's pretty cool. With potential futures running the gamut between total destruction, total desolation, and a sweet short story. I'll tell you, sometimes it keeps me up at night. I've spent my entire adult life involved in grassroots politics. If I had to guess, I would say that personally, some individuals, perhaps unknown to us today, is still the missing ingredient. Now, let me just say this. And I like Bill, so I'm not going to... I think you're looking at it the wrong way. Like, there's not some person that's the missing ingredient. The missing ingredient is just people doing the right things. Maybe that person is out there to get people to do that, and maybe that's what he's talking about, and then that I can understand. But I'm not looking for one person. I'm looking for a whole bunch of people. Like, I'm looking for everybody.
Right.
And I think that sometimes many of us, and I'm not really putting Bill in this category, but there's too many of us that are looking like to 20. There's a lot of people looking at 2016 and already involved in like the Rand conversation.
Right.
Like, if Rand's the answer, you don't understand the question. And this is not to say, well, is it Rand or is it Gary Johnson or is it, whatever. That's not my point. The point is, it's 2014. We haven't even finished the last election cycles. And in 2016, the last seat I'm worried about is president.
Right.
I need Congress people. I need state house people. I need state senate people. I got a senator here in Florida that's going to be up for election in 2016. Hell, we got some city councils.
Mm-hmm.
Anything is more important than that one. And the other ones will fall in line if you do the right thing.
Yeah, and the smaller the race, the more winnable it is.
Yeah, and exactly. And let's say you got some of those people again, you're going to tell me you can't do both? Look, if you go to your neighbors right now and say, vote for Rand in 2016, you've wasted your time.
Yep.
When you could have told them all these other people to vote for.
We could be working on getting a libertarian elected to mayor in our city council or to county commission or something, and it's a much more winnable race.
Yeah. Now, let me equate that to the people that are the Republicans still. You could do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Again,
it doesn't matter. This is not even a libertarian thing. It's a understand what the hell's going on thing.
Right.
How is it that the libertarian understands this and you Republicans are supposed to be so damn smart can't understand this?
Well, because they're used to top-down thinking.
Exactly. And that's the problem. Very good, Greg. Thank you, sir. Because that's the problem. Is that for all the talk of liberty, there's way too many that are part of this movement that still look to the top to fix it. Mm-hmm. When they got to look down, they got to look a lot lower than that to fix it. And if they would if they would adjust their vision, we wouldn't have as many problems. So, this is the last thing that I wrote with him. Somebody wrote, vote for Charlie on my thing? I'm going to kill him. All right. That may be, that I got, and he asked about the missing ingredient. I said, that may be, but it does not change the course for me. I still need to keep learning what works and what does not. It also it is also to get people to buy into what I'm talking about. Danielle Alexandria, Francisco Rodriguez, and I actually wrote a book regarding this. Pimp the book. It's the nuts and bolts of the way to accomplish it. But there is always more than one way to get it done. I may try and see what I plan on doing after this election will be a new twist. That we can save for after the election. So I did kind of say, well, there's some things I'm not going to tell you. Which, there is some things I'm not going to tell them.
Got to buy the book.
Yeah. Well, no. The book. That wasn't a plug to buy the book. That was actually a plug for other things. But that is funny, though. That was funny, though. And I hope he did buy the book. I don't know if he did or not, though. I didn't check it out. I didn't check up on it yet. But then Don Cox wrote, "Vote for Charlie." I don't like that, Don. I don't like that at all. You know, have you ever noticed that there are some people that are so deathly afraid of Rick Scott that they're voting for Charlie Crist literally out of fear?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what a lot of the Democrats are doing. That's the thing. My friends who are Democrats, I remember word for word some of the very, very vicious attacks that they were putting on Charlie Crist 6 years ago when they hated him.
4 years ago.
Well, 4 years ago, yeah, but 6 years ago when he was in office, it was full swing, and they're criticizing him heavily for what he's doing while he's in office. 4 years ago, not so much because he was coming out and he wasn't running again for governor. So the hate switched from Charlie Crist to Rick Scott. But when when Charlie Crist was in office, they hated him just as much as they hate Rick Scott. But their hatred isn't for policies. Their hatred is for people and parties. And it doesn't matter who the person is. You put the letter behind their name, and that's going to determine what they think about the person.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's all it is.
Because you can't say that Charlie Crist is going to win and then come in and be some dramatically different person than he was last time he was governor. And the actual reality is, even taking the totality of the party from the Republicans and the Democrats, you're talking about an approximately 7% difference in policy across the board. That's it. About 7% difference. Yeah. Otherwise, they are exactly the same. I mean, we say a lot that there's no difference between the two parties. They're exactly the same. And to some degree, that's true. But there is also some degree of truth to there being differences in policy. But where those differences in policy are so small that you're talking about less than 10% of their party platforms are different.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they both believe in a lot of the same stuff.
Yeah. And regardless of what they say they believe in and what's in their party platform, ultimately, once they get in office and start implementing policy, there's even less of a difference.
Yeah.
And what they actually change is where there's no difference. They both go towards bigger government, more authoritarianism, more control over the people, taking away our freedoms, insisting on us giving more money, whether or implementing new fines and red light cameras, whatever it is. They're all about trying to find a way to perpetuate this beast of government.
Yeah. Oh no, and they're all doing it. That's the thing. I've seen this. What I normally have not seen in this election cycle is too many people that are out there pining for one of the other people, like either Chris or Scott.
Right.
I've started to see a little bit of that, but none of them are using that I'm voting for that guy. They just either attack Adrian like he can't win or something like that. Mm-hmm. I haven't gotten much of that, but I have gotten some of that. The problem that I see here is that those people don't understand. Many of them, not all of them, but many of them, they actually don't understand what it takes to influence policy.
Right.
Like, they don't understand that voting for Rick Scott or Charlie Crist will not actually influence policy.
Exactly.
At all. It just ain't going to happen. If you vote for Rick Scott, then it's just going to continue what he was doing. That's it. It will continue what he's doing. If it's Charlie Crist, it's going to do what Charlie Crist is doing. But you got to remember, he's dealing with he'll deal with a damn near veto-proof legislation, and without any kind of a mandate whatsoever. So he knows that he's going to play with these guys. I mean, he's done it before.
Yeah.
Again, it's not a big deal. Now, blue team wins the state. Okay, that's a difference. But what's really the difference there? You're going to have Republicans in the House and in the Senate controlling it, and Charlie Crist, who really, in all reality, is the biggest flip-flopper in the planet. But that also means, though, that dude will go back and forth on any issue, and he bows to public pressure. So if you put enough pressure on Charlie Crist, there you go.
And really, it's going to take a sustained length of time of electing the correct people into office to achieve any changes anyway, especially at the federal level, but even at the state level, because what really runs the government is mostly unelected bureaucrats. And they are either appointed or hired on to fill a role. And once they're sitting there in that role, they're the ones that are directing the decisions for these, this department, this organization, whatever.
Yeah.
And until you have sustained lengths of time with people in office who are appointing these roles and making the hiring decisions, who get these bureaucrats out and bring in better people or eliminate those organizations at all, you're not really going to see a major change in policy. That's especially true at the federal level. You get to the federal level, you can get the president and everybody houses out and bring in all fresh blood, and you're going to see a nominal change in policy because most of the government is run by unelected bureaucrats.
Yeah.
You're not going to change NSA policy with a new Congress. You have to get the people who are running the NSA out. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah. You have to get those people out of there.
Which goes to the point of what you were saying about how the presidential election is really the least important.
Yeah.
One of the things that I love that Penn Jillette says, I would like the president to have so little power that it doesn't the office rather than have so much power that it doesn't matter who's in the office. But really, the point that he's making is he's absolutely right. It doesn't matter who's in that office.
Yeah. It doesn't matter at all. No. Bad. I mean, in many instances, they're all bad. Look, there's a story that has come out about Bondi. It was a Bondi story that came out. Hang on, let me get to the story real quick, though.
There's plenty of those.
Well,
yeah. God, she sucks out loud.
It sucks too because she's actually good looking. Like, that irks me. I don't like it when hot people do bad things. It sounds weird. I don't like it when hot people do bad things.
Depends on what they're doing.
I guess that's a good point, by the way. But I'm going to read this. It's from the Tampa Bay Times. Pam Bondi has close ties with law firm whose clients have had suits dropped in Florida. Partners with a powerful D.C. law firm aren't registered as Florida lobbyists, but that hasn't stopped them from wining and dining attorney Pam Bondi for the past 4 years to discuss clients. Bondi dropped suits or declined to investigate cases of numerous behind-the-scenes interactions with the firm, Dickinson Shapiro, the New York Times reported Wednesday. The Tampa Bay Times Miami Herald reviews show none of the partners were registered to lobby in Florida, meaning their advocacy may have violated state law. They won't be prosecuted unless someone files a sworn complaint with the state. Cases involving Dickinson Shapiro clients that fizzled in Florida include Accreditive Health, a Chicago-based hospital bill collection company, shut down in Minnesota for 6 years because of abusive collection practices. Bridgepoint Education, a for-profit online school that Iowa Attorney General Tom Miller said had engaged in unconscionable sales practices. Herbalife, which has been investigated by federal and state authorities, and online reservation companies, including Travelocity and Priceline, on allegations that they were improperly withholding taxes on hotel rooms booked by the state. Since 2011, Dickinson Shapiro has contributed $122,060 to the Republican Attorney General's Association, a super PAC that contributed $750,000 to Bondi's re-election bid. She sits on RAGA's executive committee. Dickinson Partners and their client ETC Capital have also directly given $24,750 to Bondi's campaign. Revelations about Bonnie's relationship with Dickinson drew fire from her opponents, and this is where they actually included Bill. It's an attorney general who, once she's on the case, like gay marriage, won't let go, said Bill Wolsifer, the Libertarian nominee. This raises so many concerns because over and over she has dropped these cases for no reason. Also said was George Sheldon. This is a devastation to her credibility, said Democrat nominee George Sheldon. It tarnishes the image of the attorney generals nationwide. This whole pay-to-play concept has got to stop. Yeah, and your people need to stop doing it too, dear George Sheldon. If you're going to start running your mouth about crap like that, then maybe you ought to say it both ways. However, you won't because you're a jerk. But go Charlie Crist, right? Like he's never done this crap, and you're voting for him. Democrats piss me off when they talk. Bonnie said that her interactions with special interests don't interfere with her duties. Are you kidding me? Like, are you kidding me? You. All right. All right. Calm down. Calm down. My office aggressively protects Florida from unfair and deceptive business practices, unless you meet with their attorneys. Bonnie said in a statement, and absolutely no access to me or my staff is going to have any bearing on my efforts to protect Floridians. Oh my God, you're so full of it. This is not the first time questions have been arising about how Bondi's intermingles politics with her office duties. She persuaded Governor Rick Scott to postpone an execution in 2013 so she could host a political fundraiser. About the same time, Bondi accepted $25,000 from Donald Trump 3 days after a spokesman said she would be reviewing a complaint filed by the New York Attorney General against Trump for profit schools. Though they received complaints in Florida as well, Bondi's office has yet to take action. The timeline's all. But Pam Bondi thinks you people are stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Or she doesn't care. She doesn't care. Along with Charlie Crist and along with Rick Scott, Pam Bondi should be in jail.
Oh, yeah.
This is, state disclosure records show Bondi frequently booked trips to the cities where she was invited to dine with Dickinson Shapiro, staying at expensive resorts. She went to Hawaii in 2011 and had her expenses paid by the Conference of Western Attorney Generals. A group covered nearly $1,600 of her travel expenses, including a $351 gift bag. Taxpayers picked up the rest. She traveled again on the same group's dime to a 2014 trip in Mexico, where it paid for $4,000 in gifts. NAAG also gave her $4,000 to cover the trip to Israel. Overall, RAGA is her biggest benefactor, spending $25,000 in the form of gifts to cover expenses to attend conferences that allowed her to meet with Dickinson Shapiro partners. Oh my God, man! Like,
bought and paid for.
I mean, bought and paid for.
We got the receipts.
Yeah. I mean, wow. This is just. It's sad. It's so sad. And then people want to defend this.
Oh, yeah.
Is this what you're defending in the Republican Party, Republicans? Is this what you're defending? Is this what you think is okay?
Oh, it absolutely is.
It does.
Well, yeah, they can say anything they want as long as they continue to vote for these people and demean us for not voting for them.
Yeah.
You have no moral high ground to stand on to demean us. Just stop with the a vote for Adrian Wiley or a vote for Will Wolsifer is a vote for the Democrats. Stop with that. Because the last thing we are ever going to do is support your people, and you are just as morally bankrupt as these politicians by supporting them.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing. I'm going to try to say it nicely. I'm going to try to be calm here. These are not policy disagreements with your candidates. These are disagreements in friggin' corruption that you're supporting. This is corruption. There's no getting around it. All right? They are both bad. They are both corrupt. And you can't go, well, the other guy's side worse. If you're voting for this, then what you're saying is, I'm okay with the corruption. I'm perfectly fine with the corruption as long as it's a corruption with an R next to it. Because they might actually talk nice to me. Maybe they'll give me their cell phone number. Maybe they'll do a policy that I can find some way to convince myself to support. This is what I don't understand. I don't understand how anybody has the nerve to be mad at people like me who won't be a party to it. And who will do what I can to support candidates that are worth something, like Adrian Wiley, like Bill Wolsifer, like Lucas Overby, like Joe Haynes, like Rob Polk, like Jared Jones, like Karen Schoen, like Tony Casso, like make sure I remember names here. Omar, Ken Willie. Don't ever come to me like, well, you guys just aren't getting out in the media enough. Screw you. Go out there and help us then. Because this is what we're up against. These guys are being paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to screw over the citizens of this state. Rick Scott is funneling money to his companies, whether you like it or not, whether you believe it or not. It's happening. Why else would you pay $20 million for a job that you didn't even take a salary for?
Yeah.
This go around. Last go around, you spent almost $100 million in your own money, I think.
It's because of the envelopes of cash that you get.
Yeah, it's because of what he's able to do with that position of power. This whole thing about, I'm making jobs, I'm creating jobs. No. He's not doing that. Those jobs never materialized. The only reason the unemployment rate went down is because people quit looking for jobs. It's the same argument Republicans are using to Obama. And I agree with them. But there's not two separate things going on here. Not at all. They're both bad. Charlie Crist, Rick Scott, both bad. Bondi, criminal. Rick Scott and Charlie Crist are both criminals, as a matter of fact.
Quite frankly, I hope Bill Wolsifer...
We can hear Danielle yelling at somebody on the phone right now.
Yeah. I hope Bill Wolsifer wins Attorney General and goes after both Pam Bondi and puts them in jail.
Yeah. Yep, I hope it happens the next day.
Yeah.
What Bill Wolsifer should do for 4 years is literally investigate every politician.
Yes.
And put all the ones he finds stuff on, put them in jail.
Yep. I would be happy with a 4-year term of just cleaning up corrupt politicians. I don't care if he accomplishes nothing else.
Yeah.
And the thing is, he would accomplish other things and still go after all the corruption.
Yeah. I really do think he would. I think you're right about that.
Because there are simple things that he would accomplish, like going in and changing the scheduling of cannabis immediately. Boom.
Yeah.
That's 5 minutes.
That's 5 minutes. We can do that. Who's got time for that? All right, so the next thing is this Ebola thing. Now I want to ask you a question, Greg. I wanted your opinion on this. Do you know the woman that was over there from Maine, Casey Hickox?
Not personally.
I know you don't know her personally.
Yeah, but I
you've
know
heard the story though, where
yeah.
she comes back. She's over there. She comes back. They want her to be quarantined, and she don't want to be quarantined, and she wants to go out and ride bikes.
Hell yeah.
What's your thought here? I'm just curious on what your thought is.
Is there any evidence that she has Ebola?
Nothing that I know of that is, what's the word for it? Substantial. Like, there's no smoking gun that she has Ebola.
Then has she committed a crime?
No.
Then she should not be locked away.
Okay.
She should not have her rights and freedoms infringed upon.
Okay. All right. Let me pose it to you and say a couple things. Let me make the case for at least voluntary, because in theory I actually agree with you here, but let me make the case for voluntarily you should just stay away from everybody for a month.
Oh, if she wants to voluntarily do it, absolutely, and I would support her in doing that.
Well, hold on. Let me say what I'm going to say though. She was helping Ebola patients in another country for an extended period of time.
Mm-hmm.
The symptoms of these things don't show up for 3 weeks.
Right.
We are quarantining all of the entire military force that we brought over there. We are quarantining those people for a month for safety. Mm-hmm. It is possible that she could have something and not show the symptoms of it. Mm-hmm. Now, they did a fever thing at the airport, but that was BS because it was not very accurate. I mean, the accuracy of those things are stupid. But this woman is just straight up, I'm going out, I don't care, and all this other kind of stuff. I think you should have stayed in quarantine for a month. Again, I understand you don't have any signs of it, but sometimes this thing doesn't show up with signs, though.
Well, also until you're showing, it's my understanding. I'm not going to speak as an expert, but I have been reading a lot of this as well as everybody else in the country, it seems. But it is my understanding that you are not really contagious until you're showing symptoms. So if she's not showing any symptoms, she also is not contagious.
Yeah. And I've heard that as well, but I've heard the other way too, though. I heard that you can be contagious. I don't know enough on this one. And I'm a little... Like, she's just so abrasive about it, I guess you could say, that it kind of irks me.
Oh, come on. You are the last person who should be getting irked
I
over
know.
somebody being abrasive about standing up for their own freedom.
Yeah, you know what? I know. I understand. I understand the hypocrisy of what I'm saying. Let me just say that right now. I totally understand the hypocrisy of what I'm saying here. And I apologize for said hypocrisy. But sometimes I get annoyed.
And that's fine. And I understand where you're coming from. But my thoughts on it, there are a lot of aid. And here's the thing. With the military, we talked about this before. Those soldiers, they're government property. They don't have rights. They don't have freedoms. They're told to go in quarantine for a month. They go in quarantine for a month.
Yeah.
Okay? So they don't in that. But she's not military. She's not government property. And as long as she is being forced into quarantine, she is government property. So that exposes the lies that were told that under the right circumstances, you are government property and you do have to do as you're told and you have no freedoms.
Well, yeah, no. If you decide to go in the military, then that's exactly what it is, by the way. You
absolutely.
You belong to Uncle Sam. You're one each.
Now, there are countless people who are over there helping with this Ebola crisis who are in contact with Ebola patients that do not contract Ebola.
Really?
Yes.
Like they have like an immunity to it?
No, it's because they are prepared and they are handling them in a proper way. You know, if she was in there wearing her full suit and she was never fully exposed, then like many of the other aid workers that are there wearing the suits, disposing of any bodily fluids that would have it, you know, and doing all the right things to keep it from spreading, she's not going to have it. And there's no reason for us to assume that she does have it if they were following all the best practices and did everything right so she would not contract it. I mean, she has already gone over there to help those people and get involved in this crisis to keep it from getting worse. And she voluntarily did everything that she needed to do to keep from getting it while she's there. Wearing her suits, disposing of bodily fluids, not coming in direct contact with any of it, all that. And now she comes back, and just because she was there, she has to be locked away for a month to prove that she doesn't have it? I mean, doesn't that go against what we're supposed to be about in this country? You have to prove you don't have Ebola before you're not quarantined. You have to prove you didn't commit the crime before you get out of jail.
You know, I understand your point. I don't necessarily agree all the way with the analogy. The analogy's not bad. I give you credit on that. But I don't necessarily agree with the analogy. And this is where we run into problems. Again, this is one of those things that I thought that this was a libertarian dilemma, if you ever seen one. Mm-hmm. Because it totally is. The libertarian dilemma here is... Let me see if I can explain this the right way. You are seriously balancing public safety with individual. Mm. But this is not like Patriot Act. This is the real public safety. This is somebody has a disease that can kill people, and you don't want it to be. You don't want people to be exposed to it. And from my understanding, some of this is just. And let me also admit that some of this is my own ignorance of the disease. So I have to say it that way too. But in this aspect, I would always err on the side of caution. Is it possible that, and this is where innocent until proven guilty doesn't really play the same way. Is it possible that she's contracted Ebola? I think, and again, I don't know for sure, but I think that it is possible based off of the information that I know. But I'm no scientist, by the way. And the other thing I will say is she's so adamant about it, maybe, and I just wish somebody would have explained it to me in a way of she doesn't have it, there's no way she has it. That's just the way it is. That's not really the argument, and it is a little bit unfortunate that people aren't just making that argument. Like, I would think you could test the blood, but they're saying you couldn't do that. You can't just make it. There's no test you can take right now to see if she's got it or not.
Right.
That's what I keep hearing over and over again.
Right. And that's why she's not contagious at the same time. You cannot just test her now and find out if she has it. Also, at the same time, that means she is not contagious. If she does have it, if that virus is in her body and replicating itself, it has not gotten to the point where it is affecting her, which means at the same time, it is not she cannot pass it on to anyone else. Once that virus itself to the point where it is actually affecting you is where there is enough of it in your body for you to be able to spread it to someone else. So if she's not showing any signs, she's not contagious. Whether she has it or not, I've seen her on the news. I've seen her riding her bike. She doesn't have a fever. She's showing no symptoms. Even if she has that virus in her body, at this point, she's not contagious.
Yeah.
So there is no reason for us to say you have to stay quarantined until we know. Especially when we have to start having some common sense and some reality in this Ebola issue and stop falling into the trap of the media hype. They are hyping this up so much. And remember, more Americans have done sex tapes with Kim Kardashian than have died of Ebola.
I always love that reference.
This is not it's not like this is an airborne virus that you're going to get it from breathing in the atmosphere and everyone's going to be dying. The hype that they are putting in the media is not in line with reality as to what we're dealing with. It is bad in Africa because of the conditions in Africa, because it is bad in impoverished areas where there's no such thing as clean water.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as knowing where your next meal is coming from. When there are those kind of conditions, then disease spreads far worse than it does in other places. Here in the United States, even the reason we brought people who had Ebola back to the United States is because we wanted to bring them to a place where we can treat it and care for them and keep it under control. Okay. And we did. Remember the those two aid workers that we brought over here? They had Ebola. They did not die.
Yeah.
Just because you get Ebola, it's not a death sentence.
Yeah.
The media, people need to turn their TVs off and stop media hype, because they act like Ebola is a death sentence and that you're going to get it just by breathing the same air that people are breathing in West Africa.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. You people need to calm down. The reality is you're more likely to get hit by a bus today than get Ebola.
Yeah. Which it doesn't really affect my life, and I understand your point, by the way. But I also will say that, look, when it comes to this ain't gonna be the last time we have some kind of disease that comes across like this. And look, there are a lot of people that have died with it, though. There are a lot of people that not in America. I'll grant you that, but they have brought some of those people back, and those people still died, though.
Yes, and most of the time, it is because they didn't know they had it, and the symptoms show themselves, and that virus gets a hold, and by the time people know they have it, they can't be treated, and it's too late.
Yeah. No, don't get me wrong. People catch it early enough, we can get things done. But I do think as a libertarian, it does raise that. It's one of those weird questions that we normally don't ask. We normally don't talk about when it comes to somebody has a disease. What do you do? Now, I was reading something, and I don't know. I have to do more research on all of it, but I was reading a story. I guess they used to have, like, you've heard of sanitariums, right?
Absolutely.
Sanitariums were used at one point as places for people just to go and die.
Mm-hmm.
that had like
what we would now call a
tuberculosis.
hospice center, or
Yeah,
something.
like tuberculosis and stuff like that. Stuff that don't get killed for now, but back in the day you could, and they would just send you to the sanitarium. And it was nice conditions. It wasn't like horrible conditions, or at least not all of them. But there was decent conditions, and you just went there and died. Even the doctors had it there too, and like everybody had it. It was like everybody's going to die. But so back in the a long time ago in this country, we used to do things like that. Do they still have those things now? I don't think they still have those things now.
Well, now they're under different names. They're not called sanitariums, but we do. I mean, now
I wouldn't put hospice in the same category though, because you
No.
only go to hospice for like if you spend more than like 20 days, and they want you out.
right.
Like, you're going there to die. You're coming at the end.
Right. What you're talking about, it's things like intensive care units and stuff like that. There are places that hospitals and the medical profession has,
But not like a sanitarium though.
No.
Not the same
well,
concept.
because back then people were lumped together in bigger groups.
Oh, I got you.
The things have compartmentalized so far in the medical profession that a sanitarium used to be a place where if you had a fatal disease, you go there. If you had mental health problems, you go there. There were a lot of reasons that you could end up in a sanitarium.
Yeah.
And basically, it was just a place to lock you away from the rest of the world because you were a danger for one reason or another. And so it's been compartmentalized in a lot of ways now to where, so I can't tell you exactly what the names of these places are, what their addresses are, exactly how they address it. But there are places that doctors will say, if you've got a disease that's contagious, typically it's in an intensive care unit or something like that.
Yeah.
There are quarantine areas in most hospitals for it, especially in major metropolitan areas. If a disease that's highly communicable and highly dangerous shows up, we're going to lock this person away here in this quarantine area until they die or we cure them.
Yeah. Well, no. Like I said, it is very interesting though. But you're right. Some of the hype is really bad on that. But sometimes it gets me too though. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes it gets me.
Yeah.
Sometimes it does. I appreciate you talking me off the ledge on this one though. I really do. Back to the politics thing. Let's go back to this for a second because I just wanted to bring this. You want to talk about exactly what I'm talking about when it comes to Kristen Scott? This is the article that is the quintessential exactly what I'm saying right here. Third hour for this, but I can't do it because I already built it up.
We'll do it again the third hour.
Kristen working with the GOP. Forgiveness in my heart. This is the title of the story. It's from the AP. Florida GOP leaders really don't like Republican turned independent turned Democrat Charlie Crist. Despite is probably the better word. They call the former governor a traitor, a liar, a political opportunist, a man with no ideological spine. So voters might wonder whether Tallahassee would be thrown into gridlock if Crist beats Governor Rick Scott on Tuesday and has to work with dominated by Republicans, who have so openly expressed their disgust for him for 4 years. Crist and the Republican legislative leaders say there's no need to worry. He's had forgiveness in my heart, Crist said recently. Likewise, incoming Speaker Steve Christofouli and incoming President Andy Gardner said they also can put the past behind them and not hold a grudge. This is their quotes. I've never been that way. At the end of the day, every senator comes to Tallahassee to do a job, Gardner said. The election would be behind us. Christofouli said that he's sure Crist would veto some bills the legislature sends him, but there are some areas where Crist and the legislatures would be able to work together. There's certainly animosity, Christofouli said, of the GOP's current relationship with Crist. For me as a leader in the House, I'll be focused on the future and not the past. I'm not focused on personalities or people. I'm focused on the job regardless of who the governor is. Okay. One of the things that I said is that there's no difference between Scott and Crist. These people, when Scott was moving into there, were saying the same things.
Yeah.
Because McCollum was the establishment's pick.
Yep.
Like, they didn't like Scott either. It's just amazing how... Oh, by the way, here, this is a great line. While Chris said he could use the threat of the veto or executive orders to push through policies like expanding Medicaid and raising the minimum wage, Ballard said Christ is also realistic and won't do anything extreme if given the opportunity to serve another term with his new party. Chris is smart enough to know how far he can push some things. He won't be on the ballot for a while, so I think he'll retreat to a moderate position on most things, and ultimately he's not going to advocate for anything that's not popular, Ballard said. So I can't imagine there being too much bad blood. Chris, who accepts the populist label and calls himself the people's governor, said he could still work with Republicans as a Democrat. You know what? First off, I am sick and tired of this guy being called the people's governor. He is not the people's governor. He is the lobbyist's governor, all right? He's just as much of that as Rick Scott is. So for Charlie Crist to try to say that is so much crap. Honestly, I want to go to Tallahassee every day and protest him and go, you are not the people's governor. You are a scumbag. You have the opportunity to look people in the eye, Chris said. They say, look, let's put the politics behind us. You've been sent here from the district. I've been sent here from the state. We have a duty for the people to fight for them. Let's just be Floridians first and get solutions done for them. They need it. They need it because of the laws you passed, dickhead. They need help because you people suck out loud. You freaks. They're just throwing it in your face, guys. Exactly. If Chris wins, it don't matter to me, man. Same thing happens, man. We get the, we'll get them to sign the right bills.
We'll still be in.
Why is there a difference between Scott and Chris? Why? There is none. There is none. Sure, he's going to talk about the minimum wage. He's talking about Medicaid expansion. If it ain't popular, he ain't going to do it.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Yell loud enough, he won't do anything. Asshole. Oh, and you people want to vote for one of these two.
You actually think?
Well, anybody listening to this show doesn't. I ain't talking to you people. Your people are good people.
Our people are good people.
Yeah, our people are good people. Everybody else sucks.
Our people are the people who understand that there is no lesser of two evil between them.
Yeah. And another thing, by the way, I'm not going to mention any names on this one. There's a woman who consistently attacks libertarians with lies and misinformation, and then somehow says that we're mean because we respond. Libertarians treat me badly. Well, maybe you should not talk crap and lie about libertarians.
Yeah.
Like, you guys are just liberals that don't want to pay taxes. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Miss Soundbite, bitch. Like, screw you. Like, seriously. I'm so angry at this. And it happens at I'm sorry, go ahead.
So I'm guessing she's a Republican then?
Yeah.
Because that's what you get. Because from the Republican criticisms of libertarians are, well, you're just Democrats who don't want to pay taxes.
Yeah.
And the Democrat criticisms of libertarians are, well, you're just Republicans who want to smoke pot.
Yeah. No, I don't want to pay. And here's the thing. I don't want to pay taxes to smoke pot.
And I'm not a Democrat or a Republican.
And I'm not either one. And the reason why is because those two, all you're doing with those two things is showing, and again, they go, well, libertarians think that they know so much and everybody else is ignorant. No. Not everybody. You.
Yeah, you specifically.
And it's based off of your statement. Again, I'm not making it up. You're the one that said the ignorant shit. He's like, well, it's just my opinion. Okay, your opinion's ignorant then.
Your opinion's not worth speaking.
And the other thing is this, and some people are going to take this one the wrong way, and I don't care if you do or not. I don't even want to talk to people like that anymore. I don't want to try to convert them. I don't want to try to reason with them. Matter of fact, I'm blocking that person after the show today. It didn't even really get in the argument with me at the end of the day. Got in an argument with somebody else. But I'm blocking those people. I'm done. I don't need you. I don't even want you in my party. I don't care if you change your mind. I wouldn't want you. You know why? Because it's for regular people. This party is for, I want to be welcoming to people, but not to hateful people like this.
Yeah.
It sounds funny that I'm yelling, calling her a hateful person. But the reason that she's hateful, though, has to do with everything else. She wants to dictate to everyone else how they should live their lives. Mm-hmm. And if you don't like that and you want to challenge that, then somehow you're mean.
Yeah.
If you call somebody out on their ignorance, somehow you're the bad guy. What? Are you kidding me? Again, who are you to judge? You're not God.
Well, that's the problem.
They
think
oh
they
no,
are.
they think that they can take their warped view of their religion, which is a warped view, by the way. To Danielle, we've talked to other people who are adamant people of faith that will tell you what their view of it is and what they should be doing and what they shouldn't be doing. These people are screwing it all up. And here's the thing. Whatever. I'm done talking to you. Look, normally I blocked those people long before, but I didn't do this for this one. Matter of fact, I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to do it live on the air. I might even tell you who it is either. I don't even want to give the person the time of day.
You going to tell me at break?
Yeah, I'll tell you.
That way I can see if they're on my list and I can block them too.
Yeah. Again, it's disgusting, actually, is what it is. I can't even believe I've left this person on the list, by the way. I just can't even believe it.
Yeah, with as many blockings and unfriendings as you have done in the past year, 2 years, I can't believe that someone like that would have lasted this long.
It happens.
That's why every once in a while you got to put out an outlandish post to help you separate the wheat from the chaff.
Yeah, well, it happens. You got to do what you got to do sometimes.
But lately, I've been doing pretty good without using Facebook to get people to unfriend me.
I'll go on times where I do that, but you know, it is what it is. I get so angry with these people sometimes because, like, look, I'm not saying libertarians know everything. That's not what I'm saying. But you know what? I think that we take a much more critical look at what is going on politically than a lot of these other people do as a whole. Not individuals, you could say, but as a whole, I think that we do a much better job of kind of looking at the issues, all the issues in and of themselves, and then making a rational determination on a lot of the issues.
Right. And libertarianism is the political philosophy for people who can admit that they don't know everything and are okay with that.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good point, Greg. I don't know what's best for people. We don't know what's best for people. That's one of the things. And a lot of times these people that are arguing the other side do think that they know what's best for people. Well, everybody should be married. There shouldn't be man and women, or man and man married, or woman and woman married. And libertarians like, what do we care? Their life, let them live it the way they want. I don't care what they do.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we have to do that. That's what happened. That's God said that. No, God didn't say that. You know.
And even if he did, this is government, not church.
Yeah. Look, and again, if you want to be able to preach that to people and say, look, man and women should be married, and you want to go on the street corner and say it, if somebody attacked you for saying it, I would defend your right to say it every day of the week. I would stand with you to make sure that those people didn't touch you because you were saying what you wanted to say. Whether I agreed with it or not is inconsequential. Mm-hmm. The fact that you should have the right to say it is what I would defend. If you want the government to do something about it, then piss off.
Yep.
Bottom line. And you can mistake that any way you want to mistake that, but that's the way it is. I have defended many people that I hated on many occasions. I have gone on calls and have fought for people that I despised. I have severed, I wouldn't say severed relationships. I have damaged relationships with good friends because of enemies. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know how better I can live the way that I'm saying to live anyway. I don't know how I can do a better job of that. But at any rate, let's take a break, though. Hour number 1's in the bag. Hour number 2 is coming up. If you would like to call the program next week, you can do that, but not this week. So it's the last week before the election's over. I got to get the phone, by the way. So, but you're listening to Liberty Underground.
Hi, this is Gary Johnson, and you're listening to the 1787 Radio Network.
Are the people hearing our message, and they're realizing that the libertarian philosophy is essentially what most people believe. It's the simple philosophy that government should be limited, held within its constitutional boundaries, and that other than that, should pretty much leave people alone to live their lives as they see fit, so long as they're not harming anyone else.
I'm Adrian Wiley, Libertarian candidate for governor of Florida, and I approve this message.
Facts about the red light cameras. Fact, you are guilty until proven innocent. The Fifth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution grants you the presumption of innocence. Fact, red light cameras cause accidents. Accidents are up on an average of 40% at intersection with camera. Fact, cameras punish technical foul violations. Over 80% of tickets are written when the red light is on, under 1/2 second. Join the fight at www.banthecams.org. www.banthecams.org.
If you received a ticket in Florida, contact Oropesa Law Offices, 800-774-9883 or tacklemyticket.com. Attorney Oropesa understands the stress associated with being charged with a traffic ticket. In many non-criminal ticket cases, there may be no court appearance, no points, and no traffic school. Attorney Oropesa handles criminal violations, DUI, and license suspension matters. Don't face these serious legal matters alone. Initial consultation is free. Call now and you will be advised about any potential defense, constitutional rights violations, the possibility of having your driving privileges restored, or preventing a suspension from going into effect. If you've been classified as a habitual traffic offender, have a driver's license suspension matter, or a pending DUI case, call Oropesa Law Offices now so you can be advised about your particular case. Call 1-800-774-9883 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or visit tacklemyticket.com. Main office in Pinellas County and serving all of the Tampa Bay area. Find out more at tacklemyticket.com. Mention Liberty Underground and get 25% off.
Liberty starts with a like. Facebook.com/Liberty Underground.
You know, Going Postal offers shipping with UPS, FedEx, and DHL International, and they're a full-service post office. And Going Postal is not just your one-stop shop for shipping. They offer copying, laminating, faxing, packaging, and they even have a notary public service. Visit our friends at Going Postal at the following convenient locations: Palm Harbor at the corner of Tampa Road and County Road 1 in the Sweet Bay Plaza, St. Pete on 66th Street, just south of Tyrone Boulevard near Publix, and be sure to visit their newest location at 35595 US 19 North at Alderman Road next to Publix in Palm Harbor.
When the unthinkable happens, it doesn't matter if you save money in 15 minutes. It doesn't matter if your neighbor has the same insurance you do. In this moment, what matters is the quality of your independent agent and the company that stands behind them. Auto Owners Insurance has been recognized as highest in customer satisfaction with the auto insurance claims experience 5 years in a row by J.D. Power and Associates. For award information, go to jdpower.com. Call Row Insurance in Newport Richey today at 727-376-0030.
We're back. Liberty Underground Show, 1787network.com. Joining us in studio is the Duchess of Doing Stuff, Tripoli's favorite libertarian, Danielle Alexandre. How are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Now, I would like you, because we were listening, while we were talking on the radio, but we overheard
You could hear me.
yelling.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not yelling. You were talking very loud, though.
I was talking loudly because it was very hard to get him on the phone to stop talking so that I could say something. So I would listen and listen and listen, and finally I would talk loudly so that he would stop talking for a second and actually let me say something.
All right, tell me what happened.
Well, and we get this a lot. It's getting close to Election Day. So the phone calls and emails from the two major party supporters are starting to really rack up. I mean, like,
ramp up.
I mean, honestly, if I was paying per minute on the phone, we'd be broke. So, I already had one this morning. And I do have to say this. I'm not a Democrat on the phone yet.
Yeah.
There's still some days left, so I mean, I'm not saying it won't happen.
Call the campaign office. You're a mean one.
Yeah, I mean, but
even this up.
So this morning, I get a call from a Democrat that says, I would really appreciate it, since you're only polling in double digits, if your candidate would drop out and support Crist, because I really like Crist. And I said, I'm sorry, but we don't find Crist to be any different than Rick Scott, so we won't be doing that. And he says, well, I understand your position. Thank you for your time. And hung up.
Why would you make that call, by the way? I don't know. Sorry, I'm having to be in the double digits there. Would you mind so much of leaving the race and endorsing Charlie Crist?
Yeah, And actually,
like him.
I don't know why the person had to have an English
I
accent.
don't understand because this guy did not have an English accent.
I just felt like it was like, sorry, Ed.
Sorry.
Sorry, Ed. Go ahead with the other call.
So now the second call of the day was not so nice, and he was a Republican that said that, and I let you know.
How did it start though?
It started with, "I'm here in the Villages," and so I knew this was going to go bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
He said, "I'm here in the Villages, and you know I'm really libertarian at heart."
I love that. If I had a nickel for if everybody that said that would vote libertarian, a landslide by
So then I knew it was going to go worse. And he says, and I really do agree with libertarianism, except you have to understand that you're going to ruin this country. And I'm like, okay, how so?
So hold on a second. You agree with libertarianism, but libertarianism is ruining the country.
Yeah.
Oh.
So he said, you know, you're really just going to put the worst of the candidates in office. I said, well, are you speaking of Rick Scott or Charlie Crist? And as soon as I said that, that's when he got angry, because he said, of course I'm talking about Charlie Crist. He is the worst one. I said, well, I understand that may be your opinion. It's not mine. I find them to be equally bad. And that's when he started yelling.
What did he say?
And he said that we're the reason that we got Clinton in office instead of Bush. And then we're also the reason why someone in Montana lost. And we're the reason why everything goes bad because, you know, we're really just Republicans, so we should just come to the Republican Party. And so I you know, in between this, I'm trying to explain to him, no, actually, we don't belong in the Republican Party. We're libertarians. We don't agree with you on everything. And he's like, yes, you do. And I'm like, no, we actually don't. You know, I'm going into things that we don't agree with him on. And he goes, well, you just sound like a liberal. I said, well, no, I actually just sound like a libertarian. And so I said, I don't agree with you on everything. I don't agree with them on everything. In fact, I think both parties are equally bad. And, you know, finally he was like, well, you're just taking votes. And I said, no, you're going under the assumption that your party owns my vote. And they don't. Nobody owns my vote. I'm going to vote who I feel is the best person. And if your party can't earn enough votes, that's your problem, not mine.
What did he say to that?
And he goes, well, we can't earn them because you're stealing them. I'm like, no, we're just earning them. You have the same opportunity to earn my vote. You've just failed.
What did he say then?
And so he started yelling some more about how we were just ruining things and putting party in. And then he started going into federal issues and saying how, you know, Obama has been so bad and, you know, can't you see why Democrats are the worst party ever? And I said, well, your party was in charge of the House and the Senate from like 1995 to 2009. And we got the Patriot Act, NSA spying, more war, more debt, more government. So if you say your party's smaller government, prove it. But so far you haven't proven it to me. I don't find you to be any different.
What did he say then?
He goes, you don't see the difference? And I said, no, I really don't. And then I actually said, listen, I'm going to end the conversation here. I have some other things to do today. And until you realize that both parties are doing the exact same thing and that both parties have gotten us here, nothing is going to change. But thank you for your time. And I just hung up.
Was he still yelling at that point?
Oh, yeah, he was still yelling.
Like that phone number. I'd like to give him a call.
Well, that actually kind of makes me think on something. The reality is libertarians have not in major races, major statewide or federal races, even really broke double-digit vote counts.
Very rare.
Yeah.
So at least as the actual elections go, libertarians are very, very much a minority. Very much a minority when it comes to vote totals. So the people who are attacking libertarians the smallest minority in the elections, which very much shows how their thinking goes. They are bullies. Mm-hmm. They are people who have no respect for those who really can't do anything for them because they are powerless, and they get off on abusing those people. He felt good about abusing someone who is probably not even going to win.
Right.
And it made him feel like a big man.
And I'll tell you this, Rick Scott, and I'm, putting this out there now, my prediction, Rick Scott has no chance of winning, whether Wiley was in the race or not. And the reason why Rick Scott is going to lose is because of Common Core.
That has a lot to do with it. That's got a lot to do with it. Well, look, here's the thing. We got blamed because Romney lost.
Yeah.
We get blamed every time.
Yeah. You know why? Because the party that wants to tout personal responsibility is anything but personal responsibility.
Well,
it's blame everybody else if things go wrong.
They're the same people that want to blame minorities for everything. They want to blame minorities for all of their problems. Back before the Civil Rights Movement, they wanted to blame the black people for all the problems in the world. Now they want to blame immigrants for all the problems in our country.
Well, back then it was actually Democrats that were blaming them, but...
Well, the thing is, we're at a point where there is no difference between the two parties.
Yeah. No, I understand. I do understand. Look, if you want to look at some of the documents within the party of what they're advocating for, look, there is some talk of limited government in there. There's some talk of free enterprise in there. There's some talk of these things, but it's all talk. I mean, there are guys that are up there, artists to the nth degree. The reason the Republican Party can't is corporatism. Now it's taken over the Dems too, so I don't even want to say that it's just this is just a Republican problem. The only difference between the two is what they're going to use your tax dollars for. For every case of giving the stadiums $30 million a year, or for every case of All Aboard Florida getting $200 million in taxpayer subsidies, Solyndra. They do the same thing. Just who they choose to pay off is a little bit different. Now they both get paid off by Duke Energy, so I do find it very ironic that there's mudslinging going on there when both of them have actually taken money from Duke Energy.
Exactly. Whether it's Rick Scott or Charlie Crist, Big Sugar and Duke Energy still own this state. Either way.
Yeah.
You can't fight that. You can't argue with it. You can't provide a lick of evidence that goes contrary.
Yep.
Well, and that's what I kept trying to tell this person, is that they both have done the same things in office. You just want your team to win.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, but your party has had control of our state, and they haven't done a good job.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it's... Look, they don't let me see the emails, the hate mail emails.
Probably.
They don't let me pick up the phone to hear these phone calls. I'm not involved in any of these things because I would not take them well. But I hear them, and I get mad even hearing them. Like, I get angry just listening. The good news about it is these ignorant fools represent such the minority of the population. They really do. At the end of the day, they totally do. In this election cycle, 40% are going to go to vote. 40 to 45% are probably going to go and vote. That means that 55 to 60% of the population isn't even going to go and vote. And if you didn't know about Adrian or you didn't know about Bill, if you were just living your life and you didn't really do any research and you just like, well, screw it, they're all the same. Nobody in the media is talking about it, which we've gotten some in the media, but very, very little in the media is talking about it. Everybody's saying the guy doesn't have a chance, so I'm not going to go and vote for him. That's what they want, and they're successful in doing that. But we just have to get to those people. The way I look at it is libertarians will win elections when libertarians realize that they should be winning elections.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as they start to understand the work that's involved in it, we start winning, and we start winning quickly. We just have to get people to do the right things, and that's really what it comes down to. And that's a lot easier said than done. I'm not going to lie, it is totally easier said than done. But it's there, man. I mean, how many people, when you go out and talk to them, people that got involved in this campaign that you know of, that were like, I had no idea until this?
Oh, hundreds probably.
I mean, just the people you talk to.
Just the people
hundreds.
I've personally talked to is hundreds.
Yeah. So that gives me hope all day long, and these people don't have any of these hangups that are accused from others. Mm-hmm. They don't have the same hangups. They really don't, and it's beautiful. Again, it's beautiful to see that they don't have these same hangups. Mm-hmm. They're not mired in, how can I say this the right way? There's so many people that are involved in politics right now on the other side, or leaders of Tea Party groups or leaders of organizations or whatever that don't get it. And if they don't get it if they're spending all their time researching how bad Obama is, then you're not taking the time to research what goes on in your own state house. Mm-hmm. So by that rationale, considering that you've chosen to be ignorant as to the workings that are going on in Tallahassee, it's not my fault that you've chosen to be ignorant on that. And to be honest with you, that's all you're ever going to focus on. So I don't think we need to go after you.
Yeah.
You know who we need to go after? All your neighbors who think you're crazy. Mm-hmm. This was the funniest call I've ever gotten. We get a call from a Democrat on the phone. So a woman calls up and says, "I'm so ashamed of what's going on with Rick Scott and Charlie Crist. I've never voted Democrat before in my life, but I'm going to vote Democrat this time. Or I'm going to vote Libertarian this time." And she's like, "What can I do to help?" And I go, tell your family, tell your neighbors, tell your friends, tell everybody you know, vote for Adrian. She's like, "I can't do that." I'm like, "Why?" "I'm surrounded by Republicans." She's like, "When Alan West was running for office, I felt like I was on another planet." Now, I want the Rick Scott guy that called earlier to Danielle to understand that call, but they can't. You know why? Because they're brainwashed to think that all the Democrat voters are just lock, stock, and barrel with the Democrats. And they believe in socialism and they believe in all this other stuff. But the truth of the matter is this. A lot of those Democrats think that the Democrats are bad too, but that the Republicans are evil.
Right.
Just like there's a bunch of people that think, well, the Republicans are bad, but the Democrats are evil. Until you realize that both of them are evil, that you can't fix either one of them, and that the only solution is to leave it. You don't have to go libertarian, but you got to understand that you need to vote for the best person regardless of the party that they belong to. Until we start doing that, you're always going to get Crist against Scott. Every election is Crist against Scott. It's like that South Park episode. Every election is a big giant a turd sandwich against a big giant douche. Mm-hmm. They're all that. But there's a third option.
Always.
Take it.
Almost always.
Almost always there's a third option. It's not just a libertarian. There's independents out there. There's other political parties that are out there. And any of those third options would be better than the Democrat or Republican. And here's why. The one thing that those third party people aren't is corrupt. And the biggest problem we have is corruption. Mm-hmm. There's not a bigger problem. Corruption is the key.
Yeah, no matter what you agree with or disagree with on these third-party candidates, the one thing that they all have in common is they understand that they cannot trust the Democrats or the Republicans, and they will not align with them. And that's a starting point.
And the reason why that you're only seeing 40 and 50% voter turnout is because the other 50 to 60% is so fed up with the two parties. And they don't think they have any other option, that they just don't go out and vote.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Now, you could be mad at the people that don't go and vote. And part of me, I'm not happy with it. But at the same time, I'm not terribly... I understand why.
I understand it. Like, if I really thought that those were my only two options, I wouldn't vote either.
And I'm not always, I had this discussion last night with somebody, I'm not always mad at that some people don't go vote. There are a lot of people I've talked to that I'm like, you know what, I'm glad you don't vote because you have no idea what's going on. And the last thing you need to be doing is participating in making the decisions. I'm surprised you don't stab yourself in the eye with your fork at every meal.
Damn. Damn, that's kind of hardcore.
I have had some that I've had some that have called up with questions that I'm like, oh, dear Lord, you're a voter.
Wow.
And I've had some.
Yeah.
And I've gotten off the phone and go, the scarier thing is that person does vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't need voter ID. We need voter IQ.
So, no, you're right. But I do think, though, that what you're going to see this time, though, is you're going to see the biggest block of people voting third party in Florida than you've ever seen before.
I think you're
it will be record breaking
in the country.
Well, lots of places. But I can't speak for everywhere. I can only speak for Florida. I actually went down the list. I don't know, did you read the thing of... Well, you might not have read it. Somebody asked me some questions last night, and I
saw
answered
it.
those. You did see that?
Mhm.
Where I broke down the numbers? I
Yeah.
actually read that on air.
Oh, okay.
So I went down the numbers with everybody.
Well, I know. That's fine.
What's wrong with talking about it on air?
Well, no. I had no problem with you talking about it on air. It's just sometimes if you're just reading something, it's just you're like it's not as good as you talking on air.
Well, Greg, was it good?
Yeah, it's all right.
It wasn't that good then.
Your talking
You hate
voice
me.
is better than your
You hate
reading
me.
voice.
You hate me, don't you?
Just a little
Well, I
bit.
mean, we're just trying to be honest that we love you.
But lie to me. I
Your
don't-
talking voice is so incredible.
Well, Ross
that-
Perot to you then.
You're too well spoken when you're speaking off the cuff and from the heart. And
So when you go to reading, like you
guys.
lose that.
Oh, you guys, you love me, really love me.
yeah.
All right. Last thing I wanted to say though, called you, and he's not listening.
Oh no.
No, he's not listening. But to the guy that called you, and this is the part that I wanted to look again. Ross Perot did not cost Bill Clinton or did not cost George H.W. Bush
The election.
the election.
Which I did say that to him.
Yeah. Oh, what did he blew up then? Oh, of course he did.
No, I said no. I said you're believing a lie to perpetuate the fear into voting for the two major parties. But actually, the majority of the people that voted for Ross Perot weren't going to vote for either candidate. The election would not have been swayed in any direction. It would have been the exact same results.
Yeah, you just wouldn't have had a person to blame.
And much like Adrian, a lot of the people who would have voted for another candidate was pretty split. There were
Right, it
people
was
I knew that
almost
were
even.
Democrats, and there were people I knew that were Republicans that voted for Perot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's people that never look. There are people that never voted until that vote.
Right.
They didn't vote until then. It really does come down to getting the word out. Which and here's the thing: the only reason that Perot lost that election is because he flaked out and dropped and then came back in.
Right. Had he not, he I believe he would have won.
Yeah, he would have won, which is why he was probably threatened. But again, I don't know the truth behind that one. But I mean,
I
think very much so he was.
It's just a lie perpetuated over and over and over again. And at the end of the day, it still comes down to the same thing. Nobody owns my vote. Ever. At all. And honestly, the more a party thinks that they own my vote, the more I want to make sure that party never gets it.
Yeah.
Just letting you guys know that. The more you come and say, we own your vote, the more I'm never, ever going to vote for your party, ever.
Oh, yeah.
But nobody owns my vote. I own it. Any candidate needs to earn it. If they don't earn it, that's their problem. It's not mine. It's not another candidate's. It's not anybody else's. Do you want to know why Rick Scott is going to lose? Rick Scott is because he's taking taxpayer money and funneling it into his own companies. He's going to lose because he's implementing Common Core and he's not turning back. He's going to lose because he pleaded the fifth 75 times when he built Medicare for billions of dollars. He's going to lose because he's a corrupt individual that should not be in office. Now, Charlie Crist, if he loses, he's going to lose because he has absolutely zero moral compass. And you don't know where he stands. And that actually may be the reason why he wins if he wins.
Well, no, and it's not just that with Chris. Chris is corrupt too. Jim Greer,
Oh, yeah.
the Sam Rosenthal or whatever. They're both corrupt. They just have different ways in which they have the graft. That's the only difference is how they do it.
Yep.
You know, and Rick Scott. Look, Rick Scott is taking taxpayer money and giving it to companies.
His own company.
Period. End of story. That's just the way it is. You can argue with it all you want to, but you only show yourself as a fool if you do.
Well, and that's what the one guy said. Well, if this state goes back to, being in Charlie Crist's hands, everything is going to go, things are going to get bad. I said, you mean worse than a governor who's funneling your taxpayer dollars into his own companies?
What do you say then?
He was like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. I said, Rick Scott is taking your tax dollars and putting it into his own companies, or companies owned by his wife, in blind trust. That's not a problem for you? He goes, well, I just find Chris to be worse. Okay.
There you go.
Because he's not on your team.
Exactly, because he's not on your team.
Because there's no other reason for it.
Yeah.
Well, these people are the same people that hear somebody sneeze and think they're going to get Ebola. I mean, they don't have perspective. They are disconnected from reality so far that they can't even comprehend how it works anymore. The reality is Charlie Crist was governor at one time, and buildings were not crumbling. Fire was not raining from the sky. Florida did not break off and sink into the ocean. And these people think that that's how bad it's going to get.
Well, and listen, and Rick Scott was governor, and none of those things happened. You know what happened? There was corruption, there was corporate payoffs, there was crony deals with both of them. And I, for one, am so happy that on my ballot I had hope that maybe we wouldn't get more of the same corruption.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, thank God you had somebody else to vote for. Look, I didn't vote for Rick Scott the first time.
No, I didn't either. And I didn't vote for Charlie Crist in 2006.
And I didn't vote for... Yeah, I voted for Peter Allen.
Yeah, I think I probably did too.
I think that's who I voted for too. I don't remember who it was because I remember there was no Libertarian on the ballot.
Right.
And I wasn't voting for the two major ones, so I bubbled in somebody else. I think it was Peter Allen.
Yeah. He got like 110,000 votes that year.
Probably because there was no Libertarians. So all the Libertarians voted for him.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's the thing.
I was so mad at Peter for that, by the way. Like, I almost had a little bit of a grudge for Peter. Because here's the thing. There was no really third party in the race, so Peter Allen was the only third party guy in the race. So he got 110,000 votes. Meanwhile, I had to deal with Rubio, Crist, and Meek, and I got 20-something thousand votes. Like, I didn't get any of the people who just would vote for a third party vote because Crist stole them.
Right.
Those he stole.
Those he stole.
Those he freaking stole. Because he lied about who he was.
Because he wasn't the real third party candidate.
He's a bitch.
But yes, those.
Was that bad? Was that bad to say?
I mean, it wasn't great. It was all right.
You know what? Charlie Crist is a bitch.
It was unimaginative. That's really what it was.
All right, then he's an uber bitch. How about that? Was that imaginative enough? He's a super duper califragilisticexpialidocious.
That was better.
Do you ever get stuck in these? And I actually posted this because I had this conversation with someone online. And it was a Republican, and they were like, I seen this on my wall, and I ended up defriending them afterwards. But it was like, we have to take back control of the Senate and keep control of the House. So I just responded, when did you have control?
Yeah.
He was like, the mid-'90s to 2009. I said, well, I thought you were against big government overspending, increased debts, and Common Core and healthcare. He goes, yeah, I am. I said, but they did all those things during that time. So again, when did you have control? The next line, well, we have to keep control of the Senate. We have to take back control of the Senate and keep control of the House. And it was like, you just kind of facepalm. We're just going in circles.
See, I can't have that conversation because there is no we that I have ever associated with in my lifetime that has ever had control of any house or senate in any state.
Either is he. That's the thing.
You know what? That's actually a good point, by the way.
Either has he ever been associated with a we that had control. Because unless you're one of the political class taking crony deals, you're not part of that system.
That's
you
right.
had nothing.
He's just not smart enough to realize it.
It's a good point, by the way, Danielle. Very good point. Very good point. All right, let's take a break. We got to take a break because we got to bring somebody that's gonna, bring this show up a notch here. Brandon from the Global Dispatch. Well, that's scary looking right there. But I got to stop looking at Facebook on Halloween. All right, you're listening to Liberty Underground, 1787network.com. We'll be back in just a minute.
Hi, this is Gary Johnson, and you're listening to the 1787 Radio Network.
Are the people hearing our message, and they're realizing that the libertarian philosophy is essentially what most people believe. It's the simple philosophy that government should be limited, held within its constitutional boundaries, and that other than that, should pretty much leave people alone to live their lives as they see fit, so long as they're not harming anyone else. I'm Adrian Wiley, Libertarian candidate for governor of Florida, and I approve this message.
Facts about the red light cameras. Fact, you are guilty until proven innocent. The Fifth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution grants you the presumption of innocence. Fact, red light cameras cause accidents. Accidents are up on an average of 40% at intersection with camera. Fact, cameras punish technical foul violations. Over 80% of tickets are written when the red light is on, under 1/2 second. Join the fight at www.banthecams.org. www.banthecams.org.
If you received a ticket in Florida, contact Oropesa Law Offices, 800-774-9883 or tacklemyticket.com. Attorney Oropesa understands the stress associated with being charged with a traffic ticket. In many non-criminal ticket cases, there may be no court appearance, no points, and no traffic school. Attorney Oropesa handles criminal violations, DUI, and license suspension matters. Don't face these serious legal matters alone. Initial consultation is free. Call now and you will be advised about any potential defense, constitutional rights violations, the possibility of having your driving privileges restored, or preventing a suspension from going into effect. If you've been classified as a habitual traffic offender, have a driver's license suspension matter, or a pending DUI case, call Oropesa Law Offices now so you can be advised about your particular case. Call 1-800-774-9883 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or visit tacklemyticket.com. Main office in Pinellas County and serving all of the Tampa Bay area. Find out more at tacklemyticket.com. Mention Liberty Underground and get 25% off.
Liberty starts with a like. Facebook.com/Liberty Underground.
You know, Going Postal offers shipping with UPS, FedEx, and DHL International, and they're a full-service post office. And Going Postal is not just your one-stop shop for shipping. They offer copying, laminating, faxing, packaging, and they even have a notary public service. Visit our friends at Going Postal at the following convenient locations: Palm Harbor at the corner of Tampa Road and County Road 1 in the Sweet Bay Plaza, St. Pete on 66th Street, just south of Tyrone Boulevard near Publix, and be sure to visit their newest location at 35595 US 19 North at Alderman Road next to Publix in Palm Harbor.
When the unthinkable happens, it doesn't matter if you save money in 15 minutes. It doesn't matter if your neighbor has the same insurance you do. In this moment, what matters is the quality of your independent agent and the company that stands behind them. Auto Owners Insurance has been recognized as highest in customer satisfaction with the auto insurance claims experience 5 years in a row by J.D. Power and Associates. For award information, go to jdpower.com. Call Row Insurance in Newport Richey today at 727-376-0030.
Welcome back to Liberty Underground, the radio show. This is Alex, co-host. Let me give Greg a little time to adjust the volume while he calls Brandon from the Global Dispatch.
I don't need to adjust the volume with you yell it like that.
Oh.
Adjust it down.
Am I being detained? Am I free to leave? You have anything to say, Danielle?
No, I don't even know what to say to that.
You don't know what to say to that?
That's just scary.
Well, you should say something because this voice will not stop until you do.
That's just a scary voice.
What do you mean it's a scary voice? It's a very nice voice. It's my professional radio announcer voice. I don't know why you don't like my professional radio announcer voice.
On no planet is that a nice voice.
Oh, you're kidding me. This is totally a nice voice.
That was weird.
That was a little bit weird.
That was a little scary. I was scared.
A little bit weird. I mean, really, though. Come on, people. Come on. You can't vote for any of these. You know, we have, it is going to be weird after the election to go back to doing the show we used to do.
Like news.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are we going to talk about?
I don't even know how we're going to do it, to be honest with you.
Well, we're probably going to have time to read news more often.
That's a good point, by the way.
Brandon.
That's a good point. Brandon, are you there? Brandon, are you there?
Hello?
Hi,
Hey.
Brandon. How you doing,
See,
buddy?
he was scared too.
He was he did sound a little scared. How you doing, buddy?
Hello?
Is he still there?
Brandon?
Brandon, are you there? Did he think he was on a different show?
We've got him on the line. He said hello.
He said hello. I heard him once. I don't
Hello?
hear him now, though. Oh, there you go.
Brandon.
Brandon, are you there?
Brandon?
All right, hang on. Call him back. Call him back, for Pete's sake.
What's going on?
What's he doing? Maybe he has the Ebolas.
He's got the Ebolas.
He's got the Ebolas, man. It might happen, man. I hope he doesn't, though. I like
I
Brandon.
really wish we could get off of the 24/7 coverage of Ebola.
Absolutely.
Yeah. One of the shows I do listen to on a pretty regular basis is Ebola all the time. I actually have to not listen because
Please leave your message for...
Oh, well.
Brandon Jones.
All right. Call it again. Call it again. Call it. He's probably trying to call in too, and it's a whole big thing.
Yeah, it's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing. Everybody's having a bad time with it. So we'll see what happens here, though. I really
like that.
I want to talk to Brandon though, because Brandon's got good stuff to talk about.
Well, he's the only one that's paying attention to the news right now.
Yeah.
This is Brandon.
All right, Brandon, how you doing, buddy? This is Alex, Liberty Underground Show. How are you doing, sir?
Brandon, can you still not hear us?
Oh, crap.
That's no good.
Can't hear you guys.
Oh, there. We can hear you now. How's it going? Can you hear us now?
Brandon?
Brandon.
Is this the wrong spot?
Brandon? But we're hearing him sometimes, though. It hung up again. All right, try him one more time. I do not want to not have Brandon on the show this week. It has to. Oh, he's calling on the other line. Boy, this really this took a turn for the south, didn't it, though? All right, I'll find a story here to talk about why you guys are fixing this crap. One thing I thought was pretty funny.
Please leave your...
This week, or not this week, or the last week, there's, the Amendment 2 debates going on all around the state of Florida. And there is a gentleman that is on the no on 2 side. The funny part about it is that the gentleman that's on the no on 2 side is just a drunk driver. Like, he's constantly driving drunk all the time.
But we'll try it.
Well, here's the thing. If you heard him in the other one, though, then why wouldn't you hear him in that one?
That's how he hears us.
I got you. So he's saying something and then he's not hearing us at all.
Brandon,
Right.
Are you there? Brandon?
Can you hear Brandon now?
I cannot.
Oh, Brandon, are you there? Brandon.
Brandon.
Oh, this is not good. Nothing, huh? All right.
Nothing.
Well, there's a guy by the name of Jeffrey Howard Reed. He has moved. He said he moved from Colorado to Naples after seeing how the legalization of medical marijuana changed his state for the worst. Let me tell you about Zombieland, Jeff Reed said Tuesday at an event hosted by Drug Free Collier County at the school district's administrative center in North Naples. However, one of the things that he did is that this is his second DUI offense for driving under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Here's my problem with the whole thing. So you're going to go to a school and tell people not to do drugs, and you're driving drunk all around the place.
Well, I mean, it just shows the level of hypocrisy.
And this is the person. These are the people. It's somebody like this that the no on 2 people will put out.
Right. Oh, yeah. He's been an advocate for the whole no 1-2 thing.
Yeah, he's an advocate for it. But at the same time, driving drunk, though, that seems to be okay.
Yeah, I don't understand it. Well, I mean, the thing is I haven't seen a no on 2 person yet that I can say has been intellectually honest about anything.
No, I remember the one we met at. There was somebody that was the property rights violator over at Greg Bowen's house.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
That woman. Well, I'm just going to put it there. Well, we don't want you to put it there. Well, I'm just going to do it anyway. It's public property. No, it's not. It's somebody's house.
Yeah, I'm standing here telling you.
Yeah, we're telling you not to put it there. Oh, no, it's okay. I do that. But you can't. Well, you don't want to make it legal. Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Property Rights Violator.
Yeah, I mean, and I just all of the commercials about the no 1-2, all of the people that are talking about and advocating for it, even like Grady Judd and things like that. None of them have been honest about any of it.
No. They well, you know why they can't be honest?
Well, because if you were honest, there's nothing you can do. I mean, they wouldn't be able to say anything to sway people to vote no.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it comes down to, we're not even talking about full legalization at this point. Down the road, is that going to be a topic of conversation? Of course it is. But right now, that's not where we're at. We're talking about a medical, a medicine and a doctor and a patient. And allowing a doctor to prescribe the medicine that's going to best help a patient.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the thing. Is that any other, pharmaceutical, you'd have companies all over the place saying, no, how dare you come between a doctor and a patient?
Yeah. Well, it's the funny thing is the same people on this no on 2 crap are going to say that Obamacare is bad because it's dictating to people, what should happen.
But at the same time, they're going to tell me that the no on 2 thing is good, though. Or the
Right.
no on 2 is good for some reason, because the government should be dictating that. I don't understand how that level of hypocrisy happens, but it does happen, and we're watching it play out right now.
Right.
Now they've gone full on with this, where now they've included the schools, which I do think that every school, for the most part, is actually violating election, the election law stuff. I think that they're violating it, to be honest with you.
Well, I didn't see any, because I picked one of the kids up from school this week, and I did not see anything like that in their school.
Okay.
And I look, because I was there for a little while, so I actually looked all over, like all the papers that they had there and stuff. Now they did have one because it was Hernando County on like an extra penny tax. Now I did see one form that had a penny on it, just a penny, and it said, "Remember to vote November 4th."
Really?
Yeah. Now, it didn't say to vote yes or no. It just said, remember to vote on November 4th.
I got you. Yeah, okay. All right. Yeah, well. Boy, these people. I tell you what, man. They just irk me
Brandon's
all
calling.
day long.
Let's see if this
You think we're going to... Oh, I'm hearing something now.
Brandon.
Brandon, are you there?
Brandon, are you there?
I think the problem is he can't hear us, so
Yeah.
he's not answering.
Yeah, he can't hear us, so he can't answer. All right, hang up on him again. I'm sorry. Do me a favor. Can somebody call him and just let him know that? Unfortunately, the episode this week of the Global Dispatch, as the segment of the show, will not be heard, which really kind of sucks because I actually like Brandon, and I think he does add something to the show. But this week it's our fault. We just gotta figure out what the problem here is, which I don't understand. But
it's this one. I know it's this one.
Yeah, but it's in the right place.
Is it just the wrong thing is not turned up or something?
I mean,
what do you think about that?
That shouldn't
one?
be it because that would put us in line 5 and 6, so it should be here.
Well, is it because that thing's not turned up then? If that's what it, I have no idea. Oh well, we'll get there. Tell Brandon we're sorry. By the way,
Yeah,
Are you messaging him on the Facebooks?
I am.
It's always nice to just call everything plural. By the way.
Or put the in front of it.
Yeah, the Facebooks. No, I like both. I like the and the Facebook. I like the and the.
So
S
you
at the
like
end.
to use the in front of it and then put the S on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see.
What do you think about that?
Well, I think it's odd. I think it makes you sound like English wasn't your first language.
Okay. All right. Maybe I'll go with that.
And I don't even mean that as a pejorative. Like, I don't even mean that as any kind of insult whatsoever. It's just very common in other languages to use the preposition the in front of words.
I wonder if it's his phone. I think he's calling from another phone. Let's take this call and see what happens.
All right. Take the call. Find out what's going on here.
Hello, Brandon.
Yeah, I don't think it's. I think he just can't hear us.
Yeah.
Hello?
Brandon.
Man, we totally can hear you, man. It's so
Well, guys,
bad.
I guess we'll talk next week. I can't hear you guys. I guess you guys can hear me. So we'll pick it up next time. Good luck to everybody, and have a good week.
Thanks, Brandon. I mean, you can't hear that.
You
Tell him we
can't.
said thanks.
Well,
Tell him we said thanks. Damn, that sucks.
I don't know what's going on here. Everything's
We'll have
plugged
to
in
fix it
correctly.
after.
Yeah,
the
we'll
show.
fix it later, man. Don't worry about it. We'll fix it. Well, here's the thing. Joe Haynes is going to be bad, too, then.
Yeah, he hasn't confirmed yet, though.
All right, well, we'll have to just... Here's the thing.
In the break, we could try to fix it.
Yeah, in the break, we can try to fix it. But also, if not, we're just going to do 15 minutes with on Joe Haynes anyway, then.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's just do that. I mean, that'll be cool to do. You know a lot, right? Can we do a lot on that one?
I don't know if I got 15 minutes worth, but I can talk.
All right, we'll look them up and everything. We'll make sure we get all that taken care of. It does kind of suck, though. That's a whole bunch of stuff.
Every time we take apart the studio to do one of these town halls, because this is what happened.
The studio's never being taken apart again, by the way.
We take apart the studio to put on one of these.
It's Adrian's fault that this is going on.
And whenever we bring it, there's always something messed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just bringing my mixer next time, and we'll just use that.
Yeah, we'll just do that one.
Yeah. So, well, we'll get it fixed up, though. Oh man, what a day!
Yeah.
I'm so glad that this thing's almost over, though.
The
I'm
election.
not gonna lie, man. The election, yeah. It's so draining in everywhere else in your life.
Yes.
Like nothing else ever gets done, and you have to undo everything. The studio was put back together last night.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, you were at a meeting.
Yeah.
You were at another meeting, and so and we also had to make sure laundry got done so that we could pack for the weekend.
Yeah.
So it's, well, I have to do laundry. You go to that meeting without me, and it's like, oh, right. After laundry, I got to put the studio back together.
Yeah.
And you got home late, and we're like, oh, we didn't do any show prep.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to Tuesday, not only because I think that libertarian candidates around the state are going to do very well. I think we're going to see historic numbers, but I'm a little excited to get back to real life.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I am looking forward to doing that because you're right. It's just everything gets put on hold when you're working on a campaign because
Right.
the only thing you're worried about is that. But after it's done, you can start getting back to things. And again, the studio itself needs a massive cleaning. The house itself needs a massive cleaning.
Right.
Like, we got to put things back together. We got to make sure we can start doing some show prep that makes some sense. The 1787 Network website has not been updated frequently in a long, long time. But at this point, it was just so hard. It's like, oh my gosh.
And your family and friends deserve some of your time too, and they haven't got much of it during the campaign.
That's true. No. That's true. That's very, very true. So
Yeah, and we're looking at, taking some time off and doing some family stuff too. So, I mean, it's just been a lot of, it's like your whole life gets neglected for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, everything just gets put on hold, and honestly, we were kind of like, oh, we had a really light week this week. Yeah, we got to sleep at home 3 times.
Yeah.
That was like, oh, we almost had a little vacation from,
I think I might have just found the problem.
Oh.
What was the problem?
It looks like it's a Skype issue. Looks like our Skype on this computer got changed to where it was using a different microphone. So
Okay.
I'm sitting here messing with connections and messing with the board, and it's in Skype, it looks like.
Oh, well, that sucks.
Well, no, I mean, at least we found where it is, so that's good.
I
Well,
hope,
that's true, too.
I hope. I will have to try and get somebody on the phone to make sure, but that's what it looks like.
Well, what else is pretty funny, though, is that as soon as the election's over, we have to actually go right back to legislative mode.
Right, because once we know who the elected officials are, then we have to start actually getting bills filed and working for legislation. I mean, that doesn't really get super busy until January, so we do have at least time to spend with family and things like that. But yeah, we literally go from one to the next.
Yep. Which, there's no rest for the wicked, but
I guess not.
Yeah. Another thing that's going on right now that I really find to be troubling, not troubling, but just kind of crappy. And anybody that you call on it will admit to it, but they won't do it until you call them on it, though. And that is this whole how many Democrats have already voted, how many Republicans have already voted, and how many MPAs have already voted.
It really bothers me that they do this.
It does. No, it actually does bother me, but it's so misleading. It's so misleading.
Well, it doesn't actually mean anything. It's only who put in their ballot, what party you were in when you turned in your ballot. But it doesn't give you any clue on who that person voted for because they can't know that.
Yeah, and if you want to talk about here's the thing. If you want to talk about the hubris of they own your vote, that's the top of it right there.
Yeah. Yeah, because they just assume, oh, look, we're winning because more of our party is coming out to vote.
Yeah. Now, here's something else, too, by the way, is that we're nearing the end of...
Tomorrow's the last day of early voting.
Yeah, tomorrow's the last day of early voting. Now, in Pinellas County, as a summary of all of this, the number of mail ballots, 174,095. Early vote, 12,660.
Okay.
It's a lot of people that way.
It's a lot of people.
Yes.
Now, in here, you also have the Dems, 70,000 have voted, 77,000 Republicans have voted, and others 38,000. And somebody told me this last night. I don't remember who it was that told me this. But the turnout thing here is not the numbers of the actual turnout of the vote. It's actually like a turnout comparative to early voting. Or something like that.
Oh, right.
It's not actually 29,000 people that have voted, or 29% that have voted.
It's of the people who got mail ballots, maybe.
I think so. Well, let me do some quick math here real quick. All right, so if it's 174,000 and 12,000, you're looking at 186,000, right?
Yeah.
What's 186,000 as a percentage of 623,000 people?
To about 30%.
Is that about 30%?
Yeah.
Well, then that number does match then.
I mean, it's a little under a third, but...
Okay, so the number's right then.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, it's about 29%.
Well, the person that told me that was wrong then.
Well, I'm sorry.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time somebody told me something.
But yeah, it's, if there's 600,000 voters, 200,000 would be 1/3 of them. So a little under 200,000 would be a little under 1/3.
Okay. All right. Fair enough then. Fair enough. I'm going to see the Pasco numbers too, though. I do find it interesting to watch these things, though.
Well, I don't like that they do this. And the reason why I don't like that they do this is because the candidates can use this as like, oh, look, we're winning, so, come out and vote. I think that this information can be used to sway, voter turnout. And so I don't like it. I actually wish that they didn't put this out at all.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Here's the thing, by the way, just so you know. For Pasco County, mail-in ballots, 43,164. Early vote, 24,678. So we've had a bigger percentage of people that are turning out to vote early.
Yeah,
or turning out for early vote. And in the precinct that I live in, we're looking at 18% have voted.
Well, that's pretty good.
18%. Total for the county, 22%.
That's not bad when you're just at early voting and mail ballots, because our county generally turns out much higher on election day than early voting and mail-in ballots.
Yeah, that's true.
Now, certain counties aren't like that. Pinellas is a very heavy absentee early voting county.
A lot of old people.
Well, yeah. But, we tend to be more people at the polls.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. I'm looking for by party, by the way, in Pasco County. 30,000 Republicans, 24,000 Dems, and 13,000 others. Boy, we need to get the others a lot more people voting. Damn it. Like, there's others is 86,000 people. We should get all those people to vote.
Yes. I mean, if we started getting all those people to come out and vote, we'd be winning every single time. Like, there wouldn't be an election we would lose.
Yeah. And one of the precincts right near us, 52, actually has a 30% of the turnout has come out already.
Is that your mom's precinct?
No, she's 15.
I'll
tell you where
that's
15's at. 15's at 15%.
Oh.
15's at 15.
I just assumed it was a close number to ours.
No. Well, it is, but it's weird, man. You know how these things happen. Though.
Which is so odd that we're literally a few blocks away, but she's 15 and we're 50.
Yeah, 51.
51, right?
Yeah, 51.
51.
So it is what it is, though. What can you do? It's like I said, I do find it interesting to watch that. It's going to be interesting to see what happens, during this. I am curious to see where the votes are going to come from, who's going to be voting for Adrian. I think you're going to see a huge amount in Polk County. I think Polk County is going to go pretty towards Adrian.
Yeah.
I think Pasco's actually going to be pretty good for Adrian. I think Pinellas is actually going to be pretty good for Adrian. Mm-hmm. I think there's a lot of the state that's going to be surprisingly well for Adrian. I think certain areas are going to be, lower than others, but,
Obviously, Southwest Florida isn't going to be as strong. Some of the Northeast.
After that 610, though, I'm not going to necessarily go with that.
Really?
That's 2 hours on the biggest AM stick in the area.
Southwest Florida.
Oh, Southwest Florida. Yeah, but we got some good people down there that are doing well, too.
No, we do. I mean, we're kind of, trying to paddle upstream there because that's literally Rick Scott country right there.
Yeah.
So I mean that's where that's where he lives, that's where he keeps a home, so I mean it's hard to contend with there, but we haven't gotten as much of the of the media attention in like Northeast Florida, although we have had some.
Yeah.
So, but I think that especially the I-4 corridor where we've had, Adrian has had huge radio coverage especially, but also TV coverage. Is going to be, I think the Tampa area, I-4 corridor area is going to be big for Adrian. I think the Panhandle, we did so much work up in the Panhandle. I think you're going to see that go in large numbers for Adrian. And in Southeast Florida, I think we're going to do fairly well.
Yeah. Well, they had the final Quinnipiac poll came out
yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Now, it was interesting too, though. And again, I think we're sitting at this. Do you ever remember this ever happening? By the way, so the way they had it was Charlie Crist at 43%, Rick Scott at 8%, Adrian at 8%, and 9% undecided.
I've never seen that high of an undecided before an election.
Or that many that were going for
or
a
third party. That's a huge block. I mean, it's just a huge number. And I if you're undecided at this point, it means you're looking for a third option.
Yeah, you're looking for something else. That's why one of the things I got to tell people, look, if you're listening to this show and you are a supporter for Adrian Wiley, you have to be at your polling place on Election Day, holding a sign, doing whatever you can to try to get as many people to vote for Adrian as possible. Because that 9, and again, I don't believe these polls. These polls are registered voters.
These are
likely voters, not registered voters. So there's a whole bunch more people out there. There was another thing that had them both at like 36 a pop. And I think still, again, you're looking at so many people that haven't voted yet. You're looking at, 20%. There's still 20% out there. So 8 out of 10 people haven't even voted yet.
Yeah. And, when you break down these numbers, number one, normally, historically, third parties drop in the polls as it gets closer to Election Day. Adrian is not. He's staying very steady in the polls, actually. No matter which poll you look at, whatever number he was at, he's staying pretty steady. Quinnipiac has always had him 8 or 9. He's staying there. Optimus has always had him about 11 to 13. That's where he's staying with them. So his numbers are very, very strong. They're not going anywhere. And the undecideds aren't deciding yet.
Yeah. Yeah, the undecideds they're just not, because you can't go undecided till the day of. If you're going to vote, then eventually you have to vote for somebody.
Right. Eventually, and that means that they're probably looking for a third option. They're probably not happy with their choices. They're still unsure if the fear can sway them, because these are probably people who are receptive to the fear, but are so fed up with the other two parties that they're like, you know what? I may just go for that third guy.
That's true. And I think that a lot of it, what it has to do with is they're just looking for someone to reaffirm or to what do you call it, to reaffirm their vote?
Reassure them.
To reassure them. They're looking for someone to reassure them, and you can be that person. Again, even this weekend when you can go out and about this weekend, go hit every home you can.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, print something out, take some of the brochures that we have, and literally just go to your neighbors. 8 out of 10 people have not gone to vote yet.
Yeah. So if you knock on 10 doors, more than likely, 8 of those 10 haven't voted yet. I mean, that's the numbers.
That's how the numbers are. So, you still got time to talk to people. Tell them they have another option. We can still win this election.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, that's the music. Hour number 2 is in the bag. Hour number 3 is coming up. Hour number 3 will be live on Tan Talk 1340, so no cursing anybody. Probably saying that more for myself than anybody else, though. That's okay. All right, you're listening to Liberty Underground. We'll be back.
Hi, this is Gary Johnson, and you're listening to the 1787 Radio Network.
Are the people hearing our message, and they're realizing that the libertarian philosophy is essentially what most people believe. It's the simple philosophy that government should be limited, held within its constitutional boundaries, and that other than that, should pretty much leave people alone to live their lives as they see fit, so long as they're not harming anyone else.
I'm Adrian Wiley, Libertarian candidate for Governor of Florida, and I approve this message.
Facts about the red light cameras. Fact, you are guilty until proven innocent. The Fifth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution grants you the presumption of innocence. Fact, red light cameras cause accidents. Accidents are up on an average of 40% at intersection with cameras. Fact, cameras punish technical foul violations. Over 80% of tickets are written when the red light is on, under 1/2 second. Join the fight at www.banthecams.org. www.banthecams.org.
If you received a ticket in Florida, contact Oropesa Law Offices, 800-774-9883 or tacklemyticket.com. Attorney Oropesa understands the stress associated with being charged with a traffic ticket. In many non-criminal ticket cases, there may be no court appearance, no points, and no traffic school. Attorney Oropesa handles criminal violations, DUI, and license suspension matters. Don't face these serious legal matters alone. Initial consultation is free. Call now and you will be advised about any potential defense, constitutional rights violations, the possibility of having your driving privileges restored, or preventing a suspension from going into effect. If you've been classified as a habitual traffic offender, have a driver's license suspension matter, or a pending DUI case, call Oropesa Law Offices now so you can be advised about your particular case. Call 1-800-774-9883 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or visit tacklemyticket.com. Main office in Pinellas County and serving all of the Tampa Bay area. Find out more at tacklemyticket.com. Mention Liberty Underground and get 25% off.
Liberty starts with a like. Facebook.com/Liberty Underground.
You know, Going Postal offers shipping with UPS, FedEx, and DHL International, and they're a full-service post office. And Going Postal is not just your one-stop shop for shipping. They offer copying, laminating, faxing, packaging, and they even have a notary public service. Visit our friends at Going Postal at the following convenient locations: Palm Harbor at the corner of Tampa Road and County Road 1 in the Sweet Bay Plaza, St. Pete on 66th Street, just south of Tyrone Boulevard near Publix, and be sure to visit their newest location at 35595 US 19 North at Alderman Road next to Publix in Palm Harbor.
When the unthinkable happens, it doesn't matter if you save money in 15 minutes. It doesn't matter if your neighbor has the same insurance you do. In this moment, what matters is the quality of your independent agent and the company that stands behind them. Auto Owners Insurance has been recognized as highest in customer satisfaction with the auto insurance claims experience 5 years in a row by J.D. Power and Associates. For award information, go to jdpower.com. Call Row Insurance in Newport Richey today at 727-376-0030.
This is Liberty Underground with Alex Snicker, Danielle Alexandra, and Greg Bowen on the 1787 Radio Network.
Well, good morning, Clearwater, Tampa Bay, St. Petersburg. This is Alex, co-host, Liberty Underground, along with me, the Duchess of Doing Stuff. She's not here at this very moment, but she is here, and she will be here shortly after she picks up the phone call. Danielle Alexandre. We'll say hi to her in a second. Also in studio with us is the Prime Minister of all sinister, Greg Bowen. How are you doing, sir?
Spectacular.
That's good to hear. How do you feel?
I feel good.
Feel good. Okay.
I feel good.
Good. Very good.
Got a lot of weight off of me.
Got a lot of weight off. Well, did you take a diuretic? Is that what it is? Yes, Greg had a diuretic. It was a good time. There you go. So this week, guys, this is the last show before the elections. Now, last year, or last election season, we did a, what do you call that? We did the show where we did like the voters' guides, right?
Yeah.
So we did a voters' guide last year on the show of all the people that we were telling you who to vote for, who not to vote for. We didn't do that this year. However, for Pinellas County and for Pasco County, statewide too, but for Pinellas County, we're going to give you at least a little bit of a voters' guide. We're going to go down this thing. We're going to break it all down for you. Now, the other thing I want you to know is this. As it stands right now in your county, about 20-something% of the people voted. But that also means that like 70-something% of the people have not voted. So no matter what the media is telling you, no matter what you're hearing anywhere else, no one has won this race. And that anybody that's currently on the ballot right now could win these races. Nothing is guaranteed no matter what they want to tell you. And they're telling you that on purpose because they don't want you to think that somebody that doesn't have a chance has a chance. So we'll break it all the way. We'll break it top down. We'll go down through all of it. We'll start with federal seats first. You guys have in Pinellas County, actually around the entire area, because Bill Arakis does not really have a challenger.
He doesn't have a challenger. My mic isn't on.
Oops, sorry.
Say it again.
He doesn't have a challenger at all.
Neither does Castor.
Right.
Castor doesn't have a challenger. And who else is around here? Jolly covers the rest, right?
Right.
In that area, yeah.
In that area.
Yeah.
So in the Pinellas County and the surrounding areas, the only congressional race that is up right now is David Jolly against Lucas Overby.
Right.
Round 2 minus the Democrat.
Now, I think I should add in here, when you go to vote, there are actually going to be 4 names there for District 13. No, there are going to be 4 names.
A spot for a write-in.
There's also a spot for the write-in, but one of the names that will be on the ballot, you cannot vote for. If you vote for him, the vote will not count, and that is Ed Janey.
Yeah. Now, why is that?
Ed Janey was recruited by the Democrat Party to run for District 13 against David Jolly. He will be on the ballot as an NPA because he did not switch from Republican to Democrat in time to qualify as a Democrat on the ballot. So he was going to be listed as NPA but supported by the Dems. And ultimately, because of commitments he had already made, he was not going to be able to campaign and run for office. So he withdrew from the election. But apparently there was some sort of paperwork snafu, whether it was his campaign, whether it was the people in the Democrat Party who were helping him. We're not sure. But ultimately, he was not removed from the ballot in time before the ballots were printed and everything went out. So his name is going to appear on the ballot. There will be a note there on the ballot that if you vote for him, it's not going to count. But I have heard that there are Democrats who are still pushing Democrats to vote for Ed Janey. You need to understand, a vote for Ed Janey does not count. It will not go anywhere. It's not even going to be registered. A vote for Ed Janey is an undervote. You might as well in CD13 if that's who you're planning on voting for. The only people who will be on the ballot that you can vote for is David Jolly for the Republicans, Lucas Overby for the Libertarian Party of Florida, and the write-ins. And there is only one eligible write-in candidate, and that's Michael Levinson.
It's you giving all the information out.
Any other name that you write in, whether it's Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, Gomer Pyle, or yourself, those names are not going to count.
That's a good breakdown there.
And it happens in a lot of races that they have no idea who the write-in candidate is, so they just write in whoever.
Mm-hmm.
But I would look at it as if you were going for the write-in candidate anyways, you were basically undervoting anyways.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. But so let's break this thing down here for Liberty. David Jolly, supported by Karl Rove, has done some bad things while he was up in office, even for the limited amount of time that he was there. Voted the wrong way on many issues against Lucas Overby, the Libertarian. In this election cycle, now as for some of the Democrats that are going for JD, there's also some Democrats that are going for Lucas.
There are.
He is going to get some. And in Pinellas County, here's some weird things about Pinellas County, by the way. Well, not weird things, but here's some things about Pinellas County. Charlie Crist has never lost a statewide election in Pinellas County.
He's never lost any election in Pinellas County.
Yeah. He's from St. Petersburg. And hometown loves him.
Yeah. There's also a big group of people that are going no on 2, or they're going yes on 2, that are going to be coming out.
Mm-hmm.
The Republicans don't fear a Democrat winning the seat.
Right.
The splitting the vote fear is not there.
Right.
Those factors play very well for Lucas. Those 3 factors in of themselves play very well for Lucas. And again, 7 out of 10 people haven't even voted yet. So if you are a person that likes libertarians, that wants to see a libertarian win an election, this is one that you can go out to your neighbors and talk to. And most of the arguments that you get for the fear-based reasons will all be going away because they just won't be there.
Yes.
So the dude's got a shot against David Jolly. How it ends up at the end of the day, we don't know yet. My recommendation here, vote for Lucas Overby.
Absolutely. Vote for Lucas Overby.
So the next race. Now let's go to the statewides. You have 4 different races for the statewides. We'll start with governor first. Now, if you've been listening to the show for any length of time, you realize, in an effort for full disclosure, totally on board with Adrian Wiley's campaign. I mean, if you're looking at Greg's shirt, you're looking at where we travel, we're all aboard with Adrian Wiley. But let me explain the reason. Let me give just a final reason as to why you want to vote for Adrian Wiley as opposed to either one of these other 2 guys. The first reason being that he's not either one of these other 2 guys. Let's just put that out right there. By the fact that he's not Rick Scott or Charlie, it almost is enough reason to vote for him anyway. How bad could the guy do comparative to what these other 2 have done? But there's more reasons than that. If you're looking to actually change what's going on in Tallahassee, the only vote you have is Adrian Wiley. Rick Scott or Charlie Crist will not change the status quo up there. I know that Charlie Crist is making the claim that he might, but he's not going to. And there's already reports that are coming out from what Chris Trifuli said, who's going to be the incoming Speaker of the House, from the incoming Senate majority or Senate President. These guys are ready to work with Charlie Crist, or they're ready to work with Rick Scott. They don't care either way. So those things are going to happen. The only person that's a game changer up there is Adrian. Now, as governor, you're very limited in what you can do, which means that the things that Charlie Crist is talking about, he can't do. The things that Rick Scott is talking about, well, he's just going to continue doing the crap he was doing before, which obviously is not working. So that leaves Adrian. What can Adrian do up there? Line item veto. Is that the governor of this state does have a special power called the line item veto. So if you're looking for somebody that is serious about getting rid of the corporatism, that's getting rid of the crony deals, that's getting rid of the no bid contracts, that wants to get rid of all the bad things that are going on up in Tallahassee, when it comes to being able to fund those bad things, Adrian's your guy. And he can do it without the Republicans or Democrats. He can do it. The only worry he would have is if he gets vetoed, because the Republicans could have a veto-proof majority up there. However, that means that all the
Override.
Override, yeah. But that means all the Republicans would have to go lockstep with the Republicans against Wiley. And to be honest with you, I don't think that's going to happen.
No, I don't think they would, because there's a lot of things. There's the reason why Rick Scott would lose and Charlie Crist would lose to Adrian Wiley would also be the cause of them losing in the next election if they overrode the veto.
Correct. Mm-hmm. So, with that being said, there's a lot of good reasons that you should be voting for Adrian Wiley. And for anybody, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, that goes, well, we can't split the vote and let the other guy in. Realize that there is no spoon. They are both horrible. They are both bad. One is not worse than the other. They are equally as bad. They just are. And here's the thing. If you're a Democrat and you feel so bad, you're like, well, I don't want to give the vote to Rick Scott, then go find a Republican and ask them to vote for Adrian too, and just nullify your vote. Have two people go instead of one. If you're a Republican, go find a Democrat and say, look, I don't like Rick Scott. I'm sure you don't like Charlie Crist. Let's agree to vote for Adrian Wiley.
I can guarantee you at this point, for every one of you that is going in from either party, there is someone from the other party also going in.
Yeah, they are. No, we know. They're calling us.
Polling shows that, and the phone call polling of people calling into the campaign proves it.
Yep, that's absolutely correct. So, for the governor race, you got to go with Adrian Wiley on that one. Attorney General. In the Attorney General race, you got George Sheldon, right?
Yes, Attorney General is
Sheldon. I guess I don't know his first name.
It's George Sheldon.
Yeah, George Sheldon against Pam Bondi against Bill Wolsifer. Now, in this race, this is an easy decision as well. George Sheldon, in all intents and purposes, gave up even running for office anyway, because all he did was running to attack Rick Scott. He was there as a cover man to try to help out Charlie Crist. So he's not even serious about the job. Pam Bondi, as we talked about earlier in the show, totally for sale. It's coming out. It's in the Tampa Bay Times. Pay to play all day long. She drops cases. She's not looking out for the interest of Florida. She is
paid for by lobbyists.
Or will lie to you about whatever, and will waste taxpayers' money on dumb stuff.
Or she's dealing with issues up in the Chesapeake Bay, which I don't know if you're aware, but that's not in Florida.
Yes.
Right.
Very good.
Not even close. Like, it's not on our border or anything.
Yeah.
Bill Wolsifer, practicing attorney, is a good guy, has a good message that he has going out there, but not just that, will be independent in office. He's a libertarian, but will be the independent voice that you need in Tallahassee, and will go after the corruption. Again, you need an attorney general to go after the corruption, and since he's not bought and paid for by anybody, he'll actually be able to do that. He'll be a busy man.
Oh, yeah.
You need to make sure you vote for Bill Wolsifer, because we need to put him to work.
Well,
not that he wasn't working before, but we need to put him to work.
But especially if you're in support of Amendment 2, the Attorney General is going to have such a large part of the regulatory aspect of Amendment 2. You really want someone in there who understands the what is needed between the doctor-patient relationship when it comes to regulations and things like that. And with Bill Wolsifer, he wrote the Kathy Jordan Medical Cannabis Act, which was like 198 pages of proper regulations between the doctor and patient relationship when it comes to medical cannabis. So if you're in support of Amendment 2, you have to vote for Bill Wolsifer to make sure that regulations are implemented in the correct manner.
That's a very good point, by the way, Danielle. I appreciate you bringing that to the forefront to discuss that on the air right now.
And conversely, that's
a big word.
Pam Bondi has come out against Amendment 2.
Yes.
She has said if it passes, it will be the law, and we'll do what we have to do. But that also means that she's going to make it as restrictive as possible. Mm-hmm. if she is the Attorney General when Amendment 2 passes. So you do not want Pam Bondi in there regardless, because she has already stated that she is against it. Expect for her to stand up and do the right thing for that law once it passes.
And George Sheldon does come across as compassionate for that, for that amendment. The problem is he doesn't have the experience with cannabis and with medical cannabis to be able to write properly. As much as people are going to say, well, yeah, but he agrees with me on the issue. He does. But he also doesn't have the expertise that Bill does in knowing what regulations are going to work. He hasn't studied all of the other states that have it and what's worked, what's not worked, and things like that, where Bill has put in that work. So he understands the issue better than anyone else.
Yeah.
Besides the fact that George Sheldon isn't playing to win.
Well, and that's true, too.
That's true, too. All right, now, CFO, we got Jeff Atwater against Will Rakin. Jeff Atwater's the incumbent. He's a Republican. Will Rankin is the Dem. Now, in this race, and then everybody can give different opinions here. In this race, I actually went with Atwater. And I voted for Atwater.
I'm probably going to end up voting for Atwater. Since we don't have a third-party candidate, I'm kind of having to choose between the Republican and the Democrat or undervoting. I really don't like undervoting, so I kind of have to choose. I typically go against the incumbent in that situation, regardless of who it is. So I'm leaning kind of towards going for Rankin, except Jeff Atwater hasn't done the most horrible job, but he is in league with the establishment corruption. So it's a very difficult decision for me.
Yeah.
If anyone was asking me, I would tell them you could skip that one and undervote. Don't have a good recommendation. I'm not a fan of Atwater. I think he's been part of the good old boy system. He's been part of that corruption, part of the bribes, part of all of that. So I can't in good conscience vote for Atwater. I did personally, because I've already voted and I don't care. I did vote for Rankin just because this is someone new. I don't know the job you're going to do until you're there. I know the job that Atwater's going to do, and I know the good old boy system that he's plugged into.
Yeah. All right. Now, very good, very good. Commissioner Ag, you have Putnam against Thaddeus Thad Hamilton and a write-in. With this one, honestly, at this point, write-in.
Yeah.
Some people actually wrote in Alex.
Yeah, actually, this is where I have gotten some votes. That I personally have gotten votes for Commissioner Agriculture. If you want to write my name in, if elected, I will serve. But the odds of that happening are not
none, because you're not a qualified writing candidate.
Exactly. The way it works in Florida, you have to qualify as a write-in candidate. It is different in other states. There are other states where they count the vote for anyone that's written in. However, that's not the case in Florida. You have to be a qualified write-in candidate. If you are not writing the name of the qualified write-in candidate, it's undervoting.
And if there's a lot of races where I will say, there's no good person in the race. I can tell you in that race, there is one very horrible person, and that's Putnam.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, let's go next. This is going to be for people that are in District 20 in Pinellas County, and you got Jack Latvala against Tony Casso. Okay, look. Jack Latvala in Pinellas County is the problem.
He's
not part of the problem, the problem. Yeah. He needs to lose, and he needs to lose big. Tony Casso, that's the way to go. Period. In my opinion. But there's no way that you want Jack Latvala to spend any more time in Tallahassee than this election.
From someone who's talked to Jack Latvala in Tallahassee, I will say he is everything that's wrong with that city.
Yeah, everything. You're not getting anything done there.
When you talk about corrupt politicians, you talk about good old boy networks and establishment hacks. I mean, Jack Latvala is the poster boy for that.
He's like their king.
Yeah, he is the picture in the dictionary. He is the one. He is all that is wrong. He is the Darth Vader of Tallahassee.
I don't like Christmas anymore because he looks like Santa Claus. That's how bad it is. That's how bad it is, folks.
Yeah, he's everything wrong with what's going on in Tallahassee. So there's no way in good conscience you can vote for Jack Latvala. And Tony's a good guy.
Yeah. All right, so the next one is going to be, this is for District 22 in Pinellas County. Jeff Brandis against Judith Ann McLaughlin. You know, with this one, I'm going to go with Brandis.
Got to go with Brandis on that one, although I do despise the attack ads that they did against McLaughlin.
I do. I don't agree with Brandis on everything, but this, now, and I don't vote in Pinellas, but if I did vote in Pinellas, this is probably the only Republican that would have gotten my vote. Mm-hmm. He was the better person for the job. I hate to admit it, but he was.
and he is one of the few people up there in Tallahassee who is at least doing some things for the people and for liberty.
Yeah.
You know, he's the one sponsoring the bill to ban red light cameras in the state of Florida. And we need people who are at least thinking down those lines in there. And you're certainly not going to get that with McLaughlin.
No.
So you have to go with Jeff Brandis.
You don't have any libertarians in Tallahassee. And you still don't. But he's about as close as you're going to get.
Yeah.
He's below the bar.
Yeah, he's below the bar. Yeah. But he's the closest to the bar.
Right.
Yeah. But he's in Pinellas County. You know, I'm part of the Libertarian Party in Pinellas County. When we are at events together, he comes up to our booth. He talks to us. He listens to us. He's friendly. You know, he makes his case clear on what he believes. You know, and he doesn't really try much to try and get us to get on his side. He pleads his case and stands his ground to some extent. So and a lot of issues he does agree with us on. He does not like Common Core. He
I know.
He is against the red light cameras. There are things that he is going to agree with the people of like mind that listen to this show. So he's definitely
He's not always going to vote with them, but he's going to agree with them.
Yeah, no, that's true. And again, I think that Brandis has done a good enough job that he's earned a vote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, next one. I got to skip 64 because that was in the primary. 65. Chris Sprouse against Carl Zimmerman.
Met them both. Zimmerman for me. Not really. It's not like an excited vote, but Zimmerman's definitely the better person there.
I like Carl. I think he's. I don't agree with everything he's done, but I mean he could have done a lot worse. And there's Republicans who did a lot worse than him. Mm-hmm. So I would go with Carl again in that race.
I would equate Zimmerman the same way I would equate.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah.
I would equate those two together.
Just left side and right side.
Yeah, a little bit different on some things, but at the end of the day, I think Zimmerman did a
close enough
work enough job, and he will go out and talk to people.
And Zimmerman. His heart's in the right place. He is a good guy, and he is trying to look out for the people.
Right.
You may disagree with him, but he's not in a corrupt fashion.
Right.
He is looking out for the people.
Yeah. All right, now you got 66 is Ahern against Lorena Grizzle.
Hands down, no question, Lorena Grizzle.
Mm-hmm. Why is that?
Well,
I'm going to defer to you on this one.
She's definitely a Democrat. She's definitely left on the political spectrum. But again, kind of like Zimmerman, she listens to the people. She is out for the people. Her heart is in the right place. And when the Libertarian Party of Pinellas County held our candidate forums for the races we don't have anyone in, she on stage said, my campaign advisors come out and see you guys and not to be out here because you guys are going to nail me to the wall. But you guys have been great. I appreciate this opportunity, and you guys are really nice. And she has come to events since then, and she has come out and talked to the libertarians and addressed them like they matter and treated them like real voters and people who have real opinions, and listened to them and offered her opinions. She doesn't get aggressive about it and tell us that we're wrong. She may disagree, but she does it in a respectful manner. And I can handle that. I can support somebody like that.
What about Ahern? Has he come into your stuff?
No.
No.
Okay.
And he's known to just feel like he's above everybody. I don't like him. I didn't like when he was up there and I've had to deal with him. I don't like Ahern at all. I think he's got to go.
All right. And I didn't know either way. So nice that she imprinted on you, though, Greg. But here's the thing: sometimes that's enough.
Yeah.
Sometimes the fact that you'll sit there and listen also means that more than likely afterwards, when you didn't have to, you'll do it again.
Well, exactly. And here's the thing: is sometimes you'll take someone who honestly disagrees with you over someone who won't even give you the time of day.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. No. Absolutely. The next one is 67. Chris Latvala against Steve Sarnoff. Just say this. Because of the earlier thing for Jack Latvala, there's no way I want his kid to win. So I don't know who Steve Sarnoff is. I don't think he's killed anyone, and that'll be enough for me.
I know who these people are. I've met them both. I'm very familiar with this race. For a libertarian, you're not really going to like either of these guys, but you're going to have to choose Sarnoff because Chris Latvala is absolutely his father's lapdog, Ed Hooper's lapdog. He's
going to do what he's told.
He is campaigning on the fact that he is Jack Latvala's son and worked for Ed Hooper. That's what he has to offer. All he has to offer is to honestly tell you, I am a part of the establishment hacks. I am going to continue the good old boy network, and I am going to give you more of the same. If you like my father's corruption, if you like his friend's corruption, vote for me so I can continue that. That is his campaign.
Yeah.
That's it. Steve Sarnoff is a union guy. He's very, very Democrat. I would not vote for him if there was anybody worth voting for in this race. But I am absolutely 100% voting for Steve Sarnoff, holding my nose the whole time because Latvala is that bad.
All right. All right. Next one is District 68. You have Bill Young Jr. It says Bill Young on the ballot thing, but it's Bill Young Jr.
He dropped the junior. It is junior.
Against Dwight Dudley.
Dwight Dudley all the way.
Yeah, I got to go with Dwight Dudley over this too. He didn't do, there was Democrats that did better than him liberty-wise up in Tallahassee. He was willing to listen. He's an office that you can go into. It's kind of an open door policy when he's in talk. He'll hear you out. He'll tell you when he disagrees. I don't find him to be part of that establishment machine, so I would go with Dudley as well.
And he
skip it.
Well, no, you don't want to skip it because he is very much in support of Amendment 2 and medical cannabis,
Right.
and he's the kind of rep that we need in office
When
once that
they're
passes.
writing regulations.
Am I being detained?
So he's not perfect by any means, but he is definitely the better person in this race, especially if you support Amendment 2.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. No, that's good. Now, do we want to take a break at this point?
Yeah, we should.
All right, let's take a break and then we'll continue this. Though, let's take a break and we'll continue this because we're not through with it yet. We're probably about the halfway point actually, but we're going to break down every race in Pinellas County. We're going to tell you where we're at on it and let you pick accordingly. You're listening to Liberty Underground.
Hi, this is Gary Johnson, and you're listening to the 1787 Radio Network.
Are the people hearing our message and they're realizing that the libertarian philosophy is essentially what most people believe. It's the simple philosophy that government should be limited, held within its constitutional boundaries, and that other than that, should pretty much leave people alone to live their lives as they see fit, so long as they're not harming anyone else.
I'm Adrian Wiley, Libertarian candidate for governor of Florida, and I approve this message.
Facts about the red light cameras. Fact, you are guilty until proven innocent. The Fifth Amendment to the U.S. Constitution grants you the presumption of innocence. Fact, red light cameras cause accidents. Accidents are up on an average of 40% at intersection with camera. Fact, cameras punish technical foul violations. Over 80% of tickets are written when the red light is on, under 1/2 second. Join the fight at www.banthecams.org. www.banthecams.org.
If you received a ticket in Florida, contact Oropesa Law Offices, 800-774-9883 or tacklemyticket.com. Attorney Oropesa understands the stress associated with being charged with a traffic ticket. In many non-criminal ticket cases, there may be no court appearance, no points, and no traffic school. Attorney Oropesa handles criminal violations, DUI, and license suspension matters. Don't face these serious legal matters alone. Initial consultation is free. Call now and you will be advised about any potential defense, constitutional rights violations, the possibility of having your driving privileges restored, or preventing a suspension from going into effect. If you've been classified as a habitual traffic offender, have a driver's license suspension matter, or a pending DUI case, call Oropesa Law Offices now so you can be advised about your particular case. Call 1-800-774-9883 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, or visit tacklemyticket.com. Main office in Pinellas County and serving all of the Tampa Bay area. Find out more at tacklemyticket.com. Mention Liberty Underground and get 25% off.
Liberty starts with a like. Facebook.com/Liberty Underground.
You know Going Postal offers shipping with UPS, FedEx, and DHL International, and they're a full-service post office. And Going Postal is not just your one-stop shop for shipping. They offer copying, laminating, faxing, packaging, and they even have a notary public service. Visit our friends at Going Postal at the following convenient locations: Palm Harbor at the corner of Tampa Road and County Road 1 in the Sweet Bay Plaza, St. Pete on 66th Street just south of Tyrone Boulevard near Publix, and be sure to visit their newest location at 35595 US 19 North at Alderman Road next to Publix in Palm Harbor.
When the unthinkable happens, it doesn't matter if you save money in 15 minutes. It doesn't matter if your neighbor has the same insurance you do. In this moment, what matters is the quality of your independent agent and the company that stands behind them. Auto Owners Insurance has been recognized as highest in customer satisfaction with the auto insurance claims experience 5 years in a row by J.D. Power and Associates. For award information, go to jdpower.com. Call Row Insurance in Newport Richey today at 727-376-0030.
Welcome back to Liberty Underground Show. This is the election primer for Tuesday, November 4th.
You know, I actually think that it's kind of apropos that it's on Halloween because it is scary.
Yeah, it is kind of scary, actually.
It's the only thing that's scary on Halloween anymore.
All right, here we go. We're at State Rep District 69. You have Kathleen Peters against Scott Orsini.
Orsini.
You know what? I don't know where to go on this one. I'm going to ask Greg first. I'm going to defer to Greg on this one first.
I think I'm going to hold my nose and vote for Kathleen Peters.
Oh, okay.
I actually don't think you have a good option.
I don't either.
My recommendation is to skip this one completely. You know, I guess if you had to choose one, I may say Kathleen Peters, but I wouldn't even say
gun
that.
to your head, it's Peters.
Yeah, gun to my head, I would guess I would say Peters, but I may just say pull the trigger.
Okay. All right. Next one is State Representative District 70. Daryl Roussan against Philip Garrett and a write-in. I'm going to go to Greg first on this one before I get mad.
No question, Philip Garrett. Met him before. Nice man. Knows what's going on. He's definitely more on the liberal side of things, I would think. But got some liberty side of things as well. And he is outside of all the good old boy network. He upsets people with the things he says on both sides as far as what's going on with the establishment. So Philip Garrett, without question.
I would have to say the same thing because I've heard some of the things that he said, and the one thing that he does call out is the people who are just in the good old boy system and the part of the establishment. So I don't agree with all his policies, but I do think he's going to call out the corruption when he sees it, and for that I would give him my vote.
Daryl Roussan is a poster boy for corruption up in Tallahassee on the Democrat side. Period. End of story. Philip Garrett all the way. Anybody vote against Roussan. I don't like him at all. And we're on the air, so I'm not going to say anything bad. All right, so
not going to say what you want to say.
All right, Board of County Commissioners. Here we go. We're going with county commissioners here first. District 2 at large. Ed Hooper against Pat Garrard.
I would write in Norm Roach.
You can't write in Norm Roach.
I would still do it.
No, because you cannot let Ed Hooper have that.
No, you know what? I may have to go with the Dem on that just so that Ed Hooper doesn't win.
Yeah.
I would never vote for Ed Hooper.
This is definitely a vote against Hooper.
Yeah, definitely a vote against Hooper on that one. All right, now the next one, Board of County Commissioners, District 4. Vote for one of these four people. There's four on this one, though.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Eggers, Mark Weinkrantz, Marcus Harrison, Carl Folkman.
This one is kind of a tough one for me because I did meet these guys. This is another one that we held a candidate forum for. I like Dave Eggers as a person.
Yeah,
I really like him. He's a cool guy, and I think that he wouldn't be a bad representative up there necessarily. He was mayor of Dunedin. Mm-hmm. Mark Weinkrantz, also not a bad guy. It's a tough one. I think I would lean toward Eggers ultimately.
What about Harrison and Folkman?
They actually, I don't think that they came out. I think Harrison did. Really, this is a tough one to choose on because there's none of these guys that I can really point to and say they're a bad person, and you definitely don't want them no matter what. But there's really nobody that has anything for me to go, yes, this guy is the one. Yeah. So
this sounds to me, from what you're saying, is that this is one of the races this is the way we would like to see the races.
Yes.
Is that there's four good people that are running.
You wouldn't really mind any of them being there.
Like, you're not adamantly opposed to any of them.
Right. Whoever wins this, I'm not going to be upset.
I've met him, thought he was a good guy.
Harrison I was like, wait,
Marcus Harrison.
I don't know anyone named Marcus.
I saw him last night.
Yeah, Marcus Harrison. I actually would lean towards Marcus Harrison on that one too.
But again, from what
But
what
yeah,
Greg's saying,
I don't hate Eggers either, and I didn't meet Winecraft, but I mean, I would lean toward Marcus Harrison in this one, but I agree with you. I don't think that there's a horrible choice in the race.
All right, District Court of Appeals, retaining of the judges.
I always vote no.
Me too.
Without question, every election since I was 8, I've always voted no on judges.
No on all of them. All right, let's move on to the next one. School board member, District 4, Beverly Billaris against Ken Peluso.
I don't think you have a good choice here.
There is not a good choice for
At all.
Pinellas County School Board on the election, quite frankly.
Let me just say this. Billaris sounds too much like Billarakis. I'd go with Peluso.
I honestly, gun to my head, I'd say pull the trigger. I don't think I could vote for either one of them.
All right. Now the next one is District 7, Renee Flowers against a write-in. Not even going to skip.
It's either you're going to vote for Renee Flowers or you're just not going to vote. Skip
vote
it.
for Kate's.
The write-in?
Well, we did school board forum as well. The write-in was there. Irene Olive Cates was there. Young, not very experienced, definitely on the liberal side of things, but good heart and is trying to do the right thing. And she's really trying to represent that area of Pinellas County and increase the education system there, because it is an area of Pinellas that is kind of being left behind.
Give the full name and spell it out then.
Irene Olive Cates, IreneOliveCates.
All right. Because in order to vote for that person, you got to know how to spell the name.
Right. Cates. If you can just write the last name, Cates, Cates, and that will count.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, you
That's
could vote.
true.
You could just do the last name.
All right, City Dunedin Mayor Julie Ward Bujalski against Julie Scales. Two people named Julie.
Yeah. Your next mayor is going to be Julie.
I've never even seen that before. That's crazy. All right. Well, do you know anything about this one?
This one I don't really know a whole lot about. And I'm not in Dunedin, so I won't be voting on this anyway. I should be better about that, but I tend to not be as knowledgeable about things that I'm not voting for unless I'm somehow involved in it, meeting the people and stuff like that.
I got you.
This is one of those where that's the case. I didn't really get to meet any of them. We never did any forums for any of them, so I don't really know a lot about them. Some of the people that I do know that live in Dunedin are supporting Scales, but I can't really say that that's necessarily who you should vote for.
From what I've heard, there's not really a horrible option in the race, that they're both kind of, very similar. I don't know enough about them to say one is better than the other, but I have heard that it's kind of even. There's not a bad choice. There's not a, great choice, but there's not a bad choice.
All right.
Yeah.
Next one is City of Largo. These are commissioners. There's 3 seats that are up. Seat 1, Bronson
Udshoff, I think.
Against Michael Smith. Know anything about this one, Greg?
I don't know anything about the Largo.
I don't know anything about
City
Largo.
Commission.
Yeah, I'm kind of lost on that one, too. I'm sorry, guys. The next one, so any of the commission seats here, well, we'll just say commission seat 2 is Danielle Ruffner against Samantha Fengner. And then commission seat 5 is Harriet Crozer against Donna Hulk. Don't know anything about any of those guys, right?
No, I don't.
Let's skip that one. Unfortunately, we got to skip that one. One of and this shows that, like, normally we would actually know these ones, but we've been just so busy we haven't been able to look.
Because
these things
normally I
up.
would research all of them so we could give accurate recommendations.
Yeah, we're all so deep in so many candidates. And campaigns.
I mean, we knew a lot about a lot of them. It just, we're getting down to the nitty gritty here. Seminole, though, we know something about. Yes. City of Seminole. This is where you can vote for 2 of them.
Yes.
Right.
Thomas Christie, Roger Edelman, Mike Fisher, Joe Haynes, Bob Matthews, and Vincent Travato. Joe Haynes for sure is a yes. He's a good guy.
Absolutely.
And again, this is a nonpartisan race, but we know Joe. We like Joe. He's a very good guy. He got into this race for the right reasons. Definitely Joe Haynes is a level-headed guy. Do you know somebody else on that list, Greg, that you would vote for in addition to?
Not necessarily enough about all of them. Really, Seminole is a city that is run pretty well. There's not a whole lot of complaints from the people within the city of their government or how things are being run, and even Joe will say that. It's not really the worst of cities. It's not like he has to go in
doing poorly.
Yeah, he's not going in with a campaign of we've got all these things that we need to fix. There are things that need to be addressed, and there are things that should be changed. But it's not like things are horrible there. So, really the thing is, part of the reason why we don't know about the candidates in these more local races is because we don't live in those areas, and we only know about them if we do dive into it or we meet these people.
Yeah.
And myself, if you live in the city of Seminole, you need to be engaged enough in your city government to be able to make this decision for yourself. And you're going to know, if it's important to you, you're going to know how these people are performing and what needs to be done and where they stand on these issues. And you need to know who you're going to vote for to help with that. I can go ahead.
I would like to say, though, in that, though, I would like to say that because we do so many other things, if we were only doing the radio and that was it, we would have known about these guys. Though.
Oh, absolutely.
I would have taken it upon ourselves to learn these things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's just been so busy, so crazy.
Yeah. I don't
want to take away the blame that goes on with us, too.
Oh, yeah. But, to Greg's point, we, as busy as we are, we know who our city council people are.
Well, yeah, for where we live. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm sorry. Finish what you were going to say, Greg. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Well, I do know Joe, and I do know some of the things that he wants to do. One of the things that he wants to do, he wants to come in. He supports term limits, and he wants to add term limits for the Seminole City government. He also wants to. He's a biker.
Oh, okay. A cyclist.
A cyclist, yes, cyclist. Sorry. So he's a cyclist, and he supports safety for the cyclists in the city of Seminole and adding bike lanes to the Seminole area roads, which a lot of people have been in support of, and it's not happening. And if you cyclist in Pinellas County, you know how dangerous it can be.
Or if you're a driver that's constantly going around cyclists.
Well, I used to ride my bike to work because I didn't live that far, and it was just easier. I will not ride a bike in Pinellas County ever again because I are riding my bike to work. I have the road rash scars that will be with me my entire life for it, and it is a very dangerous place to ride a bike anywhere in Tampa Bay, but especially in Pinellas County. And we really need those. We need the bike lanes for the bikers' safety and to help with the traffic congestion.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if that's something
I did a bike race, same problem.
Whatever you do, vote for Joe Haynes.
And there one other issue that he is in support of currently, I believe it's the city recorder. Hold on, let me find it here real quick. The city clerk is appointed by the city manager, and he would like to have that changed to where the city clerk is an elected position. So where they are accountable to the people rather than the city manager, because that is one way in which cronyism and corruption can be opened up.
No, very good point.
Joe Haynes.
The next one, East Lake Tarpon Special Fire Control District. We got Wayne Ferguson against Sharon Hurst against Tom McQueen. You know anything about this one?
I do not.
All right, we're going to have to skip that one then. We're running out of time anyway. Lehman Special Fire Control District, Palm Harbor Special Fire Control District. The only thing I will say about the district is the Palm Harbor Special Fire Control and Rescue District Seat 4. I think Casey Kane's going to win only because his name's Casey Kane.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right.
Yeah. All right, so now we got, all right, let's get to the amendments.
All right.
The amendments, you got number 1, this is the Water and Land Conservation. Dedicates funds to acquire and restore Florida's conservation and recreation lands. This is, for me, this one's a no. There's so many unintended consequences of this, and the government already owns enough land as it is. You don't need to buy any more.
Well, they're already using land that they own, and they're giving permits to people like Nestle Water for $250 a year to pump 40 million gallons per day of water out of our aquifer. This is just going to give them more opportunity to buy land and do the same thing. So you have to vote no. This is all about crony corporate deals.
Absolutely. And if you support Adrian Wiley, and one of the reasons why you support him is when he talks about his plan with state land, this is something that will directly affect that plan and prevent him from doing that. It will give the government permission to buy more land.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, and I think that look, if this does get passed, then he has to, as governor, do what this amendment says.
Right, because it's a constitutional amendment.
However, I think that with that being said, though, what's going to happen is all the crony land is going to be sold off.
Right.
So that'll be good. Number 2, use of medical marijuana in certain circumstances. Or certain medical conditions. We're yes on 2. I don't think we've talked enough about this one.
I think you just have to be. At the end of the day, this is a medicine that it's between patients and doctors. This isn't about anything else but that. You have to be able to let doctors prescribe the correct medication for a patient. This is a safe alternative to a lot of the pain medications. If you want to get rid of pill mills and things like that, this is the way to go. So you have to vote yes on 2.
Look, if you don't like pill mills, if you don't like pill mills, then you vote yes on 2.
Right.
If you don't like the pharmaceutical companies controlling everything, you vote yes on 2. This is another crony deal. So, just the way it is. Constitutional Amendment 3, prospective appointments of certain judicial vacancies.
No.
Ever.
You don't want the governor being able to do that, because that means that judge is beholden to the governor.
And really what this is, why it's here right now, is Rick Scott hedging his bet to give him the opportunity to appoint justices before he leaves office.
Yeah. And even without that, you never want your judges appointed ever by either a governor or, because then even when the governor's gone, they're beholden to that political party, and you don't want that. You want judges to be fair and impartial, and they're the only people that they should be, accountable to is to the people, never to any kind of politician. So you never want these people to be appointed. Always no on appointing judges.
All right. I'm no on that too. The next one this is for the county, will appear in all the precincts in the county. Levy of county 1% sales surtax to fund a Greenlight Pinellas plan for public transit. I'm a no on this one. Greg, where are you at?
I'm a no.
This has to be a no.
Yeah. Look, first off, there's enough graft in the system that if they actually wanted to get rid of the corruption, they could afford crap like this. But crap like this wouldn't work anyway. It's not a good idea. It's a bad idea. Vote no.
It's a bad idea. There are businesses and residents that are going to lose their land and their homes and buildings for this. And this has failed before. Most of the Pinellas Trail are abandoned that were abandoned due to lack of use. And so they have been repurposed into a walking and biking trail for the people of Pinellas County. Basically, you are going to increase your taxes for more bureaucrats to have bad public transportation plans that will ultimately turn into something else that we have to fix later.
Yeah, it's going to be a boondoggle. It always is. It's the same thing that's going on with the Miami Tri-Rail system, which has just been horrendous for the citizens in Miami. There's no way that this is going to work in Pinellas either.
And quite frankly, if you are serious about improving public transportation in Pinellas, you have to be serious about it across the entire Bay Area, and this has to be a joint effort between at least the 3 major counties of the Bay Area, if not the entire Bay Area. You cannot do this county by county. You have to work in conjunction because it is a major metropolitan area. It is urban sprawl, and one of the big problems is getting back and forth across the Bay. And if these 2 cities and these counties are not working together on this, it's all going to fail.
Fair enough, people. All right, now we're to the charter amendments. This is going to be for Kansas City. And we'll go through them quickly. Term limits. They're voting to get rid of the term limits in Kansas City.
For local, I'm a fan of term limits. I'm not a fan of term limits on the federal level necessarily, but state and local, I do support term limits.
Danielle?
I'm sorry. Say it again. I just had some
term limits in Kansas City.
I'm always for term limits.
All right. The next one, this is the City of Largo amended charter. This is for the amendment charter question.
Just to clarify, if you are for term limits, that's a no on this Kenneth.
That's true. Yeah, it's a no on it
because they're wanting to get rid of them. They want you to vote yes to get rid of them. Vote no if you want to keep term limits. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Thank you for the clarification, Greg. We only got 5 minutes left, so we'll try to do these things quickly. City of Largo has an amended charter. So the amended charter, which clarifies that amends various charter provisions, corrects clerical errors, provides that the vice mayor shall serve a term of 1 year, allows for a current commission to be appointed to fill a vacancy in the mayor's position, removes the mayor's authority to appoint members of advisory boards with the advice and consent of the commission, and provides the cost for copies of the budget shall be set by ordinance be adopted. I don't know anything about this one, to be honest with you, so I don't even want to speak on it.
It doesn't sound like a bad thing, but I'm not really sure. I'd have to look and see what they're doing things now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now the question number 2 is, should section 2.05 of the city's charter be amended? So if the other one is amended, amended to provide for the salaries of the mayor and city commissioners will be increased each year at the same percentage as the salaries of city management employees increase, not to exceed 3% in a year, and to allow city commissions to adopt a resolution reducing any increase to their salaries. So it looks like they're trying to get a pay raise.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they don't get paid enough and they do enough work that they would require that they get paid more money. I couldn't even... Investigations increased by the city commission. Should section 2.07 and 2.10 of the city charter be amended to require a vote of the majority of the city commission to authorize the city commission to conduct an investigation into the affairs of the city, and for a city commission to conduct an inquiry of the city's officers or employees. Sounds good, but I don't know anything about it though. Referendum to approve the lease of property. Should section 2.12b2 of the city charter be amended to require referendum approval of the lease of city-owned property for a greater term than 10 years instead of the present provisions which require referendum approval of lease with a term greater than 5 years. Again, I don't know anything about this, man. Matter of fact, I'm almost... Oh my gosh.
There are 8 questions for people in the city of Largo to answer, and really, you're going to need to be tapped into your city government and functioning, because that's what a lot of these are about. And you're going to have to make a determination: do you like the way it's running now, or do you like this change?
Yeah, you're gonna. If you live in the city of Largo or the city of Seminole, you got a lot of questions on there because you guys are running charter governments there. So you have a charter, which means you guys make a lot more decisions. But that also means you got
the city charter.
Yeah, the city charter. Yeah, so go through those things and really kind of get an idea of what they're all about there. Please do, though, if you live in those cities, because they're the ones that are running your government. So
real quick, let's get to the city of St. Petersburg one, because there's only one referendum question for the city of St. Petersburg. Charter amendment removing prohibition against city council members expressing opinions concerning hiring of senior management employees. Shall the city charter, which currently prohibits council members from directing or requesting the hiring of any city employees, be amended to allow council members to express their personal opinion concerning the hiring by the mayor of any chief or administrator or higher management level employees, while continuing to prohibit any formal action concerning hiring by city council?
I'm for this one.
I
don't know anything about it, but it sounds good, though.
To me, I'm leaning towards a no on this, because it sounds like it gives the city council a voice in saying, yes, hire my friend. They still don't have any power to affect the hiring, but it allows them to have a recognized voice as a council member to say, yes, I want you to hire this person.
Yeah. All right. I mean, I would side on. I believe that that's a kind of a freedom issue, and I would side more towards the yes than the no for the freedom aspect of it alone. But I understand the point you're making, though.
Yeah, and that's one that I'm not like fighting hard on. I'm not going to argue with somebody that supports yes.
You ain't killing that one. Okay.
Yeah.
You ain't dying on that hill.
Yeah.
All right. That's all of them, guys. That's everything. And it's 11:59. We got a minute left. Let me just say this. No matter what, if you agree with us, disagree with us, whatever, go out and vote. Your vote is your voice. You need to make sure that you use it when you can use it. And this is one of those times that you can actually use it. So please go out and vote. But please vote for Lucas Overby, Adrian Wiley, Bill Walsifer, Joe Hayes, and Tony Casso. Is there anybody else we were dead set on voting for? That was it, right?
That's really it.
Really it. All right, guys. The website, 1787network.com, and we will talk to you about the results of the election next week.
And we may even have a phone.
And we may even have a phone, so you can call in as well. We'll see you next week.
Don't be mistaken. I'll be